Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of I Don't Even Podcast, episode number 28. I'm Youssef, joined as always by Jonno.
Hello.
And special guest today we have a VF superstar, Luke.
Hello.
AKA
That's
MadeMan.
me.
Nice to have you again.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here again.
It's been a while.
We were just saying it's been like I think I was on like episode 7 or something, so it was a couple
Well
over a year.
We were still working with the audio format only.
So people don't know people don't know what you look like, but now they do.
Now they do. Yep.
These poor souls.
Got him.
I look a lot better in the dark. There it is. That's the peak of the show.
And it's all down here from now.
It's a gradual decline from here.
Guys, no, seriously, please stay.
We rehearsed that for 2 hours.
Yes. I think we nailed it. I think we did pretty good. I think we did good.
So contrary to popular belief, and you can go check my Steam account to validate this, we did not go on a short hiatus because of Tekken.
No, of course.
To date, I have played, I think, a grand total of 2 minutes of Tekken because I accidentally booted it when I was meant to open Firefox to do something else because I've just been flat out. So if you think Tekken 7 is the reason, it's not. That was just like a happy side effect of that. So
well, I don't know.
It gave all the people at home a chance to get into
I've been
it
playing
and play
Tekken 7.
yeah, no,
It's
I've
a
heard
good
nothing
game.
but good things.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
And we'll probably
touch on that
at some
during the
point.
show.
But we thought that today would be a good opportunity to bring you on, Luke. Both when Tekken dropped, but now I guess as well surrounding everything that's going on with E3, because there are a lot of new games popping up. A lot of people being like, "What do I play? How do I feel? What is anything?"
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody who's literally taken again, or resurrected, because I guess VF did have a scene at some point in the past, but really resurrected the scene and brought it back with no support from anywhere.
In 2 countries, might I add.
In two countries.
In 2 countries,
That's
in
a
2
valid
different
point.
continents, in 2 different hemispheres.
That's a very valid point.
Yes.
Yeah.
We thought we'd get your input while also using sort of what's going on with Tekken and Street Fighter 5 and a bunch of other games, but mainly Tekken as sort of a case study. And then while we critique it, we'll sort of have Youssef as like the token defense squad. But we will have a lot of look. We'll have I'm sure we'll have heaps of good things to say. There'll be plenty of good things to say about Tekken.
I'll try to be as non-biased as I can, but no promises.
No promises. And this, of course, ties into what's going on with E3, which we'll touch on in the news. But Dragon Ball, what's it called? Dragon Ball Fighters
Dragon Ball Fighters Z.
Okay, that's a great name.
DBF.
That got announced, and then there's a whole bunch of bullshit regarding Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yep.
Mr. Worldwide, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah, that's what Marty said. You're literally
I'm
Mr.
Mr.
Worldwide,
Worldwide.
checking in for the IDEP remix. But
I'm enjoying it.
yeah, so that's sort of what's on the agenda for the show. We'll get to news because there's a butt ton to get through, and we're going to kick it off on a really sad note. Yahoo Esports this morning announced that the website will be shutting down due to the AOL merger, and anybody that's been in the scene would know that Zoreen, who was a long-time Tekken community member, worked for GameSpot, did a whole bunch of stuff with the scene. She flew over there for Yahoo Esports, so our thoughts are with her and the whole team, because she did a lot of great work, the whole team did a lot of great work.
She did.
Especially in regards to fighting game content, but it sounds like already that those guys are sort of on the up and up. But like, obviously thoughts go out to those guys because it sucks to lose a gig like that. But she's talented, like they're all talented, and I think a lot of community people, industry people recognize that, and they'll definitely bounce back.
And overall, it's a growing industry too. I mean, like it's not like it's something that's shrinking. It's only getting bigger, so I'm sure they'll find their feet.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So thoughts with them, but they'll hopefully be. Okay.
They're not dead, John.
They're not dead. Thoughts and prayers with the families.
One like, one prayer.
God. Like we said, Dragon Ball Fighter Z officially revealed at Xbox's E3 press conference. It's not an Xbox exclusive like some people with really poor comprehension will have you believe. I believe
it's on everything. It's PS4 and Steam.
That's right.
Yep.
Coming
early 2018.
Early 2018.
As a Tekken player, a lot of people are a bit sensitive to that word.
Define early.
The word early gets thrown around a lot these days.
Webster's defines early.
So we'll talk a lot more about this in terms of like general E3 impressions. But so far, Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Majin Buu, Frieza, Cell all confirmed. Kugi, who you might know from Broken Tears, spent a lot of time with the game because, for those that don't know, and I think this is in the news later, but Arxis, the Guilty Gear
Developer.
Yeah, developer, not Arc System Works or a US publisher. It's a different thing. They are in charge of the development of this game. And of course, that's kind of like a match made in heaven. A literal anime with like the anime game developer. And Googie put up a bunch of impressions. It plays a lot like Guilty Gear. And it's looking very
apparently
polished.
It has dust cancels.
Yes, the dust cancels, DHCs, like all sorts of other like assists, all sorts of other garbage. And he sort of broke it down from a Guilty Gear player's perspective. It's on Kappa. It's on his Twitch. I think it's at Coogie Please PLZ.
Actually, just going back on this, I read an article last week that said the sales for Rev 2 that went up by like something. It was like something like doubled within a week or some shit like that after Dragon Ball got announced. So everybody's like, oh shit, this game is made by Arxis better buy the fucking main Arxis title to get used to what's gonna come. And like they're like it's a massive surge that just came out of nowhere. So it's interesting to see. And also apparently like an extra 2,000 copies of BlazBlue got purchased like within that as soon as they in like one day.
I find that so bizarre because I don't know if you guys saw the other thing that went around about this, that it was like YouTube comments react to Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and it's like, this looks like a phone game.
Oh, the casuals.
Yeah, the casuals.
Yeah. We were talking about this before we came.
Yeah, we were at El Jonno, and then we were talking about it. Shout out to El Jonno. Yeah, and then I'm like, dude, like seriously, like, well, I don't want to say fuck the casuals, but like, all I'm gonna say is every single other Dragon Ball game is for you guys. Let us have this one. Like, give us one.
But then
let the competitive scene have one. Like that's all. Just give us one. That's
but the correlation that doesn't make sense because like, who are these people that are finding out that like Axis is making makes Dragon Ball Z and Guilty Gear? It's like, I'm gonna buy Guilty Gear. Who are these people giving them the sales bump?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think that's like probably part of it's probably existing FGC guys who are saying like, I want to, maybe it's a similar system or I want to try it.
Stream Monsters.
Some of it's also probably just like Stream Monsters. Some of it's probably also just people who weren't really aware of their other works, and it's like Arc System Works. What have they made before? Hey, this game looks cool. Yeah, like because it's getting the name out there, and it's just exposure that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
I mean, if you look at Guilty Gear from like just an outside bubble, and then you look at the characters, and then you look, present, you're like, holy shit, this game looks fucking amazing. I'm gonna buy it. So you know. But
for me, the thing where it breaks down is the Guilty Gear is a niche game within a very like niche community. I just use both. I don't want to hard commit to one, but
I don't think it's. I think Guilty Gear is one of the bigger games in the FGC.
I think anecdotally it is, but if you look at the Steam numbers, it's even in the big territories like the US, like all games have to be, it's not like Tekken, it's not like SF. You have to go through Discord to get games. It's still not at that level, despite what, you know, like, I don't play Street Fighter, I'm a Guilty Gear player. Yet, anecdotally, that's what people, like, it looks like, but then translate it to online and it's still, you got to go to Discord, you got to do what, I guess, not the second tier, but not the, like, top tier, like the NRS and the Capcom and the Bamco games have to do as well.
Bamco?
I think anyway. But I don't know. So that to me is interesting, but like, regardless, it's all good news.
That's not just a fighting game thing. Like, if you look at like a lot of games that are online focused or genres that are online focused, outside of the big two, everything else you've probably got to go and organise games on your own. I mean, unless it's a huge
What's the big two?
Well, like let's say, I don't know, like RTS games. Like if you're not playing StarCraft, or if you're not playing or shooters, if you're not playing CS:GO, or you're not playing I don't know,
like a MOBA.
Yeah, or if you're playing the MOBAs, like if you play the third MOBA on the list, then you probably still need to go.
Yeah, you play the third MOBA. Yeah, I don't even know what the third MOBA is. So
maybe Smite.
Oh, Smite. Yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
So I don't know. Look, regardless, it's all positive. Game looks good. Check out Coogie's Twitter if you want to find out more about it.
I got Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z over friend yesterday, and I started watching. Because I've never watched it, and so that's why I'm like, I don't know. I know almost nothing about Dragon Ball.
Turn the mic volume up, no problemo.
So I'm like, I don't know nothing else. So I'm gonna start watching it. So that's also a reason. I watched the first 8 episodes of Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, and then it's cool.
I'm reading that in Japanese because I do that because I'm Japanese.
Yeah, cool.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
How many thousands of chapters do you have to get through?
It's not that long, and it's kind of designed at like kids, so it's kind of within my vocab.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like it's cool. But anyway, Marvel vs. Capcom. Speaking of E3 reveals, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's launch roster may have leaked. This happened way before E3.
Yeah.
Should we just run through the list?
Yes. I mean...
Okay. And by the way, chat, if we need to turn the mic up more, let us know. But, sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, I just want to say, it's kind of exciting and not exciting, the roster at the same time. Because it's like... So I like Marvel. I'm big on Marvel. Like, I just think Marvel is cool. But I look at Marvel characters and I'm like...
Would you...
And then I look at the Capcom side, and even though I'm not a big Capcom fan, I'm like, ooh, chill out.
Would you describe it as safe?
I describe it as it's safe, but it's not even safe. It's like there's no like, oh wow, it's just like
unexpected.
Yeah, it's like there's no pizzazz to it, or just like nothing that really grabs.
So
me.
for the folks at home on the Marvel side, the alleged list is Ant-Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Gamora, Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Man, Nova, Rocket, and Groot, who are now one character, I guess. Spider-Man, Thanos, Thor, and Ultron. I'm a complete comic pleb. Who is Gamora and who is Captain Marvel?
She's alright. I got this. She's the green girl from
Guardians of the
Galaxy.
I've totally seen that movie too.
Honestly, out of that list, I'm excited for her and Thanos the most. Personally, you know what I mean?
Dav God said the word you're looking for, Youssef, is recycled.
Recycled.
Yeah, it's like these are all the movies characters. It's like outside of Captain Marvel.
That's what
I don't know if she's got. I know
Captain Marvel's got a movie coming up.
Oh, then
I'm
there
pretty
you
sure
go.
that's
there you go.
Yeah.
And then looking at the Capcom side, you got Arthur, Chris, Chun, Dante, Firebrand. All of whom were in Ultimate. Jeddah,
that's cool.
A Monster Hunter character, which I think is also pretty cool.
He's gonna be cool.
Morrigan, Nemesis, Ryu, Strider, all in Ultimate as well.
Yeah.
X, and then they've got it as a mystery thing.
Which is Zero.
Because Zero got revealed in the trailer. Which, Zero, I think that's kind of cool that he's like on the bad guy side, because that kind of ties into Mega Man lore a little bit. But... I don't know. I'm with you guys. I think the Capcom side is more
he's fucking boss.
Do you think they're doing what SNK did, and they know who everyone wants, and they're purposely withholding them for DLC?
Well, that was the Tin Hot
So they're
Foil
doing the
Hat
Capcom thing, where it's just like, we're just gonna make you pay money to get the shit you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, because sorry, go on.
Oh no! I was going to say there was actually a Tin Hot Foil Hat leak about that. I might actually.
Well, because the reason I say that is I said
sorry to interrupt. Yeah. They also saw Black Panther. He's a DLC character along with Sigma.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Also, another character of the movie coming up, Black Panther.
Yes.
No, because I remember when the King of Fighters roster released, I was thinking to myself, every man and their dog has been asking for Yamazaki and Vanessa and Rock Howard. It's like, why are they not in the roster? And I remember, I did post about it. I said a few times, like, I feel like they're going to release that as DLC because they know everyone really wants it and they will pay for it, and they did.
And who's the last character?
Whip.
I was going to say the girl with the whip. What's her name?
Yeah, girl.
Whip.
Girl with.
But
yeah, like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like Gene. Everyone's been
people keep
asking
asking for Gene.
Gene.
I haven't played the game, but everybody they say like
it's a really good game. Yeah.
If anybody in the chat has a link to that Kappa post, Marty, you probably have it, of that guy who leaked the whole bunch of stuff about Infinite. We'll get back to it later.
How it's gonna be like theme packed. So it's gonna be like one Street Fighter versus X-Men theme.
Somebody in the chat will hook us up.
One's gonna be like as well like another thing. It's gonna be like Fantastic Four versus maybe Darkstalkers theme as well.
Oh, okay.
Like one of them is gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So that's why like you see there's no Fantastic Four characters, so no Doom, for example. And there's no X-Men characters. Yep. You know, Wolverine, Magneto.
Marty will hook us up.
Well, I was going to say, just going back to that list, did you close it already, or are there any X-Men?
No, because that's one of the.
Well, that's one of the theories as well. But one of the theories was that they don't want to do X-Men because
Disney,
Fox has the rights to the movies for X-Men, and Disney doesn't.
Oh.
That's why you don't see any X-Men characters in the Marvel universe.
If I don't see a Wolverine in this fucking game, I'm not fucking playing the game. That's all I'm saying. Straight up. I'm just being real, man.
I believe it.
Hopefully someone will hook us up with the thing. Okay, Marty the God. Marty the God literally coming through. Alright.
Don't praise Marty.
No, legit.
That's all with Marty. I like Marty.
Marty, okay. So this is... Okay, the title of the post for the audio listeners, and we're back, is because incompetence has consequences.
Yes.
Here's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite SF5 Season 2 and 3 leagues plus a bonus league.
Yes, Venom!
So I'll give you guys a TLDR. Rice, who's, I guess, leaked stuff on Gaff, about Capcom stuff before, so he said... Okay, so this guy and Rice are leaked together Spider-Man, Doctor Octopus, Venom, Songbird, Miss Marvel, Ant-Man, Rocket (bracket but not part of the group moveset), Thanos, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Chun-Li. Those last 5 I mentioned have all been confirmed.
And Star-Lord. You missed Star-Lord.
No, but it's in those 5 have been confirmed. Star-Lord and Black Widow, have they been confirmed?
No.
Yeah, so the Hunter from Monster Hunter, which ties into the other league. Rathalos, which is a Monster Hunter.
Monster?
I don't know who that is.
Is it a monster?
It's a monster. Yeah,
okay.
It is. Strider, Arthur Firebrand, Leon, Jeddah, Spencer, Captain Commando, Dante, Frank West, Asura.
Oh shit, Asura. All right.
So apparently,
I want Frank West.
I think this would be.
No, I like Asura because he's like
Asura's cool.
He's like Capcom Wolverine. That's
really?
Like he's just an angry dude.
Oh yeah.
And then he just goes ham and goes into his.
He's got lots of arms.
Yeah, and then just punches dudes to oblivion. I'm like, I can get behind that. Yeah. I like the angry characters.
Yeah, Asura's another one that people have been asking for.
Yeah,
from memory, like if people saying, "Why is this guy?"
So it's like the game isn't that great. Like it's good, but it's nothing spectacular. But they just really like the character.
Yeah,
like he'll be a great fit. Remember there was this SF4 mod, Asura versus.
No, that was official. That was DLC. It wasn't a mod.
No. Like
that was an official release for Asura's Wrath. Was like, hey, you can fight Street Fighter characters.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a thing
for SF4.
No, for Asura's Wrath.
Yeah, but it was SF4.
It was SF4 models, but for Asura's Wrath, you actually downloaded like an extra level where you fought Ryu and stuff. Yeah.
So running down the list, it's like what does it say? Street Fighter 5 and a third Darkstalker character, which I'll get to in a moment. He's heard about Doom Scroll, Silver Surfer, as well as X-Men characters. Not all characters have leaked, blah, blah, blah. Season 2, possibly being Fantastic Four versus Darkstalkers DLC pack next year. With Doom Scroll, Silver Surfer, and She-Hulk being the 8 characters, plus Felicia and Taliban. Shinko could return because they've got the assets, which is in line with what we've seen from E3 because there are a lot of reused assets. Season 3 plans to be X-Men, going along with the X-Men versus Street Fighter part of the legacy, which makes sense because SF only has 2 characters at launch. Unlike SF5, it looks like the seasons will literally be, there'll be multiple years, so like first half and second half. They went with a very DLC heavy direction of the game. By the way, I should mention that this is all speculation, and there's a very good chance we'll get to the bottom of this post and it's like, oh, by the way, this was debunked since the last time I read it. But anyway.
No, it's not.
It's very DLC heavy because they want to, like, they've been esports in mind. They want to keep the dollars coming in. The thing that bothers me, or this guy, is like they're withholding so many popular characters. And then there's some bullshit about Street Fighter 5. Like, who cares? We don't need to talk about that. So yeah, that's sort of where the game list is.
Hit him with
at.
the 6 DLC, 6 characters for.
Okay, so the alleged list is that they're going to soft reboot Super Street Fighter 4 with a second cinematic story, arcade mode, 5, of course.
I was like, what? Street Fighter classic?
Yeah, the classic, nice. So it was like a second cinematic story mode, arcade mode, some other bullshit, and 6 characters, which were Sagat, Sakura, Oro,
Viper.
Q, Viper,
and
some other third strike idiot. Q, Viper...
Necro?
Just open. Yeah, I think it's Necro. No.
I think it's Necro.
Necro would be cool.
Who is it?
I think it's Necro.
It's Necro.
Yeah.
So people are like, nah, this is bullshit because 3 SF3 characters, but it kind of makes sense because this
Bayer made a tweet with these exact 6 characters.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, he knows because he's an Illuminati, so...
look, it's all tinfoil, but I could see them doing a reboot because the actual rhetoric they used was like, we'll never charge again for the core-based product. It was never like, we'll never do super specifically. Anyway, that was a big detour in terms of the roster leaks, but how do you, I guess, coming all the way back, how do you feel about that sort of model, like with the season DLCs that they're talking about? Like, that launch roster, to me, looks very safe and lackluster, but, I don't know. Did you have any opinions, strong one way or the other?
I've never really played a fighting game that had seasons, or even really DLC,
right.
So that's all like sort of new territory for me. I don't know if I really like it. I like the idea that it keeps it fresh and like you get new content and it feeds you something new to keep the game fresh without thinking like, oh, I've got to wait for a sequel. But I also don't like that it's kind of puts you in this limbo in between where it's like, well, there's a new character coming out next month that I'm probably going to like better than the character I'm playing now, or
Not to
they're going to
mention-
rebalance it, or they're going to change the tier list.
Not to mention Capcom's current track record with that stuff anyway is not great. But look, the gameplay footage that's come out, not from the home demo, that's another thing we should mention that's not in the news. They've released a playable story demo that is already obsolete based on the footage that is coming out of E3, which I think did way more harm than good because it looks worse. I think there are significant gameplay changes. Like the footage coming out of E3, forgetting like the whole Chun-Li's face thing, which if you haven't, do yourself a favor and go watch the story trailer of Marvel vs.
Just make
Capcom
sure the
Infinite.
lights are on because you're honestly going to get...
And have a phone close because you're going to want to call a loved one very shortly afterwards. But putting all that aside, what's come out of it from the gameplay is good, but I guess...
Like you can blink, you can dry dash, all that jazz.
And there's some real grime in there, but I guess we'll get to this later on. The impressions coming out of it and the people who have been giving those impressions have sort of left people in an interesting sort of place based on where the community is. But we'll sort of talk about that more when we talk about the wider community stuff, because I think that sort of ties into that. But I guess closing thoughts on those two games would be I'm sort of cautiously optimistic for both games. Despite being burned by Capcom to a degree, I still kind of like Street Fighter V, and I don't wish any ill wishes on the game. I want it to be a good product, and if the game is a good product, I want to see the support there. But I'm sort of very cautiously optimistic about both. Less so about the Dragon Ball Z game. I feel like that's going to be good. Even if it's not for us as the fighting game audience, I think that's going to be a good product.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm not so much worried about that. Like, I'm going to get that and play the shit out of that. In what capacity, who knows? Marvel, like, I have a lot of non-FGC friends who are like, are you going to get into Marvel? I'm like, it's honestly too early for me to tell because there's so much other good shit out there. And Capcom, I hope it's good because Marvel has had a very important place in the scene, both here and worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, man.
See, this is the thing what I was just telling you guys before. I want both, of course, Marvel and Dragon Ball to both succeed, right? Like, I mean, if you're in the FGC and you have half a brain in your head, you should definitely want both games to succeed. The reason why people just are waiting for any opportunity to hate on Marvel because it's a Capcom game and because people got burnt so hard from, SF5 that they literally have zero faith in Capcom. Like now as soon as they see the slightest something that's a bit off with the Capcom product, they just like hard go in to hate on Capcom and say how Capcom is the worst and blah blah blah. Just because that they've been scorned too much, like they can't take it anymore.
So I'm gonna put in the show notes Viscant. He put up a really thought.
Before you say what you're about to say, I agree with Viscant.
Okay.
Whatever he says, I always agree with him.
He basically put up a post that was just like, because the defense, one of the defenses for Infinite was you should never wish for a game to do poorly, which I understand that.
100%.
Like,
There's no benefit to anyone.
Yeah, it should be the glass half full approach of you should hope the games that are great products should be to succeed. And then he put up this thought piece of like, look, I agree with the sentiment that you shouldn't wish for games to be like this to fail, but I get where these guys are coming from. Like Capcom was like they burnt a lot of goodwill here, and it was just a really thought provoking piece. And I'll link to it because it's really, really like it's just the guy writes really, really well. Like,
I love the way he writes stuff. He's just so good. He's a really smart man.
So that'll be one for the show notes. But anyway, we'll talk about
moving on to other stuff that are not Capcom.
Injustice 2 World Champions is coming to E-League in October.
So it's essentially E-League, not for Street Fighter 5, but for Injustice. It kicks off in October, and it's like $250,000, for the taking. So that'll be interesting.
Good game, good support.
People are kind of like I've been hearing the game is kind of at a stalemate at the moment, which is weird. And then when people were telling, these are NRS players, they were telling me, I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. And then when they were telling me, I'm like, do you mean Australia or do you mean like US? And then they're like, both. And I'm like, explaining, they're like, oh, a lot of people are going back to MKX. And then I'm like, how
really?
Come? And then I'm like, yeah, I was surprised. And
I'm surprised.
So apparently there's like it's the main issue at the moment is like a buffer issue with the buttons, right? And then because it's funny because when the game came out, like I speak to Aaron. Aaron is for those who don't know Aaron Gilbags. He's the NRSTO, top player as well in Australia. And then when the game came out and like I was like playing it before Tekken came out, Like I kept telling him, I go, Aaron, there's something wrong with the buffers. Like I try to buffer a move, and then it's like there's negative edges always on even when it's off, and it's really fucking me, my inputs. Like I try to keep them as clean as I can, but if I delay it too much, like I don't know what to do. And then Aaron's like, oh, like you're just gonna have to keep your inputs clean, blah blah blah. And then like I go and I try to do like the most basic atrocities combo, and I still fuck it up. And then I'm like, dude, Aaron, like I know you say that, but there's something wrong with the inputs. And then like that was for like about a week, and then I stopped playing. Yeah. And then now I found out like it's apparently now like this massive issue, and people are like, if I'm gonna fix it, we're not gonna play this game because it's literally fucking up everyone's input.
Do we need to get another NRS guest back on? This sounds fascinating.
So that's why I'm like, oh, so when Dan told me this, you know Dan, I don't know if you know that. When Dan told me this, and then I actually started laughing, and he's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, so essentially you're telling me the reason why people are playing. Don't want to play Injustice 2 at the moment is the main reason I kept complaining to Aaron about for like the first week I was playing Injustice.
And Dan was probably like, yeah, you're right, Youssef, that's totally right.
So and then I'm like, oh, alright. So, but I mean, hopefully that gets fixed because the game is actually, it's pretty fun, it's pretty hyped. The characters there are pretty awesome. People were complaining about Deadshot when he came out. Oh, he's too broken. Now he's like not even top 5 anymore. Like the meta is evolving, you know. So people should definitely stick with the game if they're fans.
And look, the support's there on the esports side. Hopefully, it's there on the dev side too.
It's DC Comics. So
speaking of Injustice 2, after that glowing endorsement of the game, Method Rio put up a character breakdown for each of the characters.
Yeah, for those who don't know who Rio is, he's a household name in the NRS community for many years. Really smart guy. Really knows how to break the game and really understand the meta at an early stage. So if you're still not unsure who you want to play in Injustice, but you're interested in the game, look at his YouTube channel.
And that'll be in the show notes.
He puts out a lot of materials.
Does he have one for every character?
Most characters. So
most characters.
Most characters. Cool.
Hey, Cough's coming to Steam on June 15th. That's today. Okay, thanks.
It came out today?
Oh, I guess it'll be tomorrow, our time.
Oh, wow.
So when this show goes up for the archive, it'll be up.
Yeah, nice.
So and their support's been really good. Like it went from being like potato to.
Who's the developer for the Steam port? Do you know? Oh, because I know that when 98 and 2K2 came out, it was a group called Code Mystics.
Right. And
because I was in it was the open beta for the netcode and everything, and those guys were in the Steam group every day. Like, we've made some more tweaks, re-download it.
Well, that sounds like what's been going on with 14.
This is good. This isn't great. Okay, we've made some more tweaks. Yeah. Like every day they'd be there. And they were so, and even when the game after it came out, they kept on updating it.
Abstraction Games.
Okay, I actually don't know them, but
they're doing good work.
Job, yeah.
They're doing really good work.
That's really good.
Speaking of good work, Core Gaming has put up probably his most fire video to date.
This is amazing video.
And it's called The Consequences of Reducing Skill Gap. And it's all about this might as well be yet another critique of Street Fighter 5.
Well, you don't want to look at it like that, but it's kind of like that.
I think that's what's
it's just the most fitting example of like why reducing the skill cap so much has such negative effects on the longevity of a game and its appeal to a wider audience.
And I'm not going to spoil the bulk of the video because it's got fire music, and the bulk of it is really good. But basically, I think Gerald's hypothesis or the statement he's trying to make here is that if you make hype things easy to do, they are no longer hype.
Yep.
Or it significantly diminishes a lot of the hype factor. And he uses the example of...
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's give the one example he gave, which is EVA moment number 37. How it's not an easy thing to do. And let me dumb it down another step down. For those who don't know who EVA moment number 37 is, it's when, Daigo parried Justin Wong in third strike. Right? So, and of course you had to time the parry and then jump and then parry again and then come down with the maximum punish, whatever. Whereas in Street Fighter 5, you can just mash.
And he literally had a South American rhythm. So he's going... And Ryu's just parrying.
He mashed it at different rhythms. One of them where he just literally mashing like that. One of them where he's mashing it to, I think, La Cucaracha or something. Another one where he's mashing it to, I think, we will rock you, or something like that. And it kept parrying the entire thing. So it's it's not hype because you can just mash it and then it'll happen. So
there's no risk reward.
Yeah, and Ziggy makes a point in the chat that 3S parries, if you put it back in the game, nobody would happy. No, I think the point is more, It's the skill gap. Like, even if you don't like Third Strike, you can look at that and be like, that's hard. You can see Daigo tapping forward to get the initial parry, which is difficult, and then he converts it.
Can I just ask, like, when he says skill, is he referring to execution?
Everything.
Everything.
In that instance, even the gameplay in general, how you approach neutral. Because Street Fighter 5 has a very lacking neutral, so it's like that's why it kind of like really brings top level and like mid.
He does talk a lot about execution though, because he talks about like Gamer B whinges on, and he's like, I can't do hard combos, therefore I can't express myself, which I don't necessarily think is like a good full argument. But if you say that in conjunction with the neutral's whack, I have so few tools, I can't mount an offense.
But also Gamer B's English isn't the greatest, but like he kind of does have a point. I mean, when you we look at SF4 and then you see. People always give Saka as an example. I'm not gonna give Saka. Even when you see Smug doing Dudley shit on people and like hitting this one frame links and shit, and it's like that's sick. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like no one's doing it, but Smug's doing it on a fucking PlayStation pad. That's hype. But now there's literally no such thing as SF5. There's not. Oh, look at this hard combo.
And
there's not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like but there's more to, I guess, hype and skill than just the execution barrier, right? And is that what he also talks about? And is that a problem with Street Fighter?
He predominantly uses execution as the example because it's the most palatable for the masses. Like, if I was to explain to somebody, like, I don't know, like,
someone made a really hard read.
Or like, look at this five. Like I sit down and I watch a Galmir in Super Turbo, and like you can literally see me like unzipping my pants. But you show that to like a casual, and they're like, this is the most boring shit in the world. But if I sit down with a casual, I'm like, see, this is hard. He can do that. But in this game, anyone can do that. It's easier to make that argument, but he doesn't really. He uses execution because it's more palatable, but you're right in the sense that it's not the full argument. But that is definitely going in the show notes because that is a fire video. So let's pound through some local results real quick, and then we'll get on to the bulk of the topic because, so much for quick news. We're real good at quick news.
We always say quick news and end up like,
So I'll pound through these real quick.
We'll only be going for like half an hour.
Street Fighter 5. This was a 2v2 tournament. We'll just do top 3. Looper and Space Coast in 3rd. Myself and Dilo in 2nd. And surprise, surprise, KG and BK Sama took that one out. That was a fun tournament, except for everybody who had to run their tournaments after this. But it was a good fun. Like, it was nice to sort of have that little break before the new patch drops. And same deal with Tekken, because this was the last pre-console tournament, right? So you guys had a 2v2 as well. 3rd place, Goat and Alchemist. 2nd place, Nike and Nezlakan. 1st place, XJ and Zep.
Which is Zan.
Yeah, I know. So Zan's like, he's woke. He's back in it.
He's playing Ikuma.
Good shit. Because he did really poorly in May, I think, right?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah.
So good stuff to him. VF, we'll just do top 3s. MadeMan in 3rd. 2nd, Eddie Kage. Popping up from like 7th last month.
7th, yeah.
So it's like from nowhere to 7th to 2nd.
Yeah.
And chill.
If this trend continues.
Mike and Blake are sweating.
Yeah.
How does
and they're like, oh jeez.
How does Chill go against Eddie?
Well, I think Eddie put him into losers.
Yo, what's good?
If you watch the replays on YouTube, he put him into losers, and then Chill won 6 in a row in the grand finals, I believe.
Wow.
So
damn, son.
I believe back in the day when they used to play, because Eddie's not brand new. He used to play in the arcades like forever. I think he used to beat Chill. Back then. So
So a rivalry.
Apologies to Blake if I got that wrong.
But a rivalry may be reforming. That's good. Injustice, 3rd place, Darksided was. 2nd place, Ozhado Gilbag. 1st place, MG Castile. So the Aaron still the bridesmaid, and everybody else is just shuffling. Who's up below him? Above him, whatever.
Sticking to that solid.
It sounds like a hell of a wedding.
Yeah. Aaron always. I don't know what to talk about Aaron. He upsets me.
I believe this was Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. I think it was. But anyway, 3rd place was Awakened Being. 2nd place was Seraph. And 1st place was Audacity. The man. He's my man.
Good old Jack.
I love that guy.
Good old Jack.
BlazBlue Central Fiction. 3rd place, Kyokukan. 2nd place, Oh My Goodness. And 1st place, Awakened Being. So every anime player south of 4th place is officially back on notice. So Renzo's saying that Eddie was OG. We had, I believe, 4 and 4 Evo was I think Mike played 3. Like, we talked about this on the podcast.
Mike used to play 2 and 1, I think, back in the arcades.
Yeah, I think
we got it. Mike is old.
Yes.
Like, it was 3 during university or something, and then I guess 4 was when, like, Blake had learned to walk by that point. So then,
he had enough pocket money that he could lose it to Mike.
His mum would let him out of the house for like half an hour a week. He'd take his quarters down to... We don't have quarters. We didn't have quarters.
We still don't have quarters.
Still don't have quarters. Super Turbo, 3rd place Gangster, 2nd place myself, 1st place Kyok again. 2 second places in one tournament feels good, man.
No, wow, yeah.
No, not wow, ow. That's the word you're looking for.
Wow.
Ow.
No, ow is the character you play in Virtua Fighter.
It's also the pain I feel every day. Oh, that's right, Mike is here.
I cry every time.
We had a thriving arcade scene during VF2 through to 4. There you go.
Which Mike? Abdo?
Mike Abdo.
Yeah. Oh, he's overseas and he's joining us?
Yeah.
International coverage.
Worldwide, baby!
We got Mr. Worldwide and international coverage.
He's not in Australia.
International incident,
Fair.
International
Worldwide.
Don't Even Podcast. That's what I stand for.
Smash Brothers for Wii U singles. 3rd place Invisi, 2nd place Joe, 1st place Luco. Smash Bros for Wii U doubles. Scarpion and Invisi in 3rd. Saucy Dancer and MM in 2nd. Joe and Luco in 1st. Melee was MC in 3rd. 2nd place Crunchy and 1st place for the 4900th month in a row. Rainbow.
There's got to be some kind of record.
It has to be.
Ajay always wins. I ask him every week, hey Ajay, are you going to win this week? Are you going to win this month? He's like, I don't know, we'll see. Every time.
He's modest, that's nice.
Canberra had their 3D6 June 7th monthly featuring Tekken 7. 3rd place was Bukake Legend in Street Fighter 5 was Bukake Legend with Vega. 2nd place was Perkadu with Chun-Li. 1st place was Magnum Infinity with too many characters. So that bracket is 1st place Magnum Infinity brackets Canberra on notice. When you have that many characters, it's like my scene is on notice.
He's just practicing.
Tekken 7. 3rd place was Kevin with Kazuya and Josie. 2nd place Moak with King Brian and Master Raven. And 1st place was Rujin with Devil Jin and Gigas.
Oh yes, Rujin. That's Val.
Okay, so you do know these players.
I was like, if Val didn't win this, I'm gonna be very upset. But he won, so it's cool.
And with Gigas.
Oh yeah, Gigas.
Sorry.
Gigas.
He's not good.
Gigas.
So it's like Gigas is like a bottom 2 character, and Devil Jin is like a top 3 character. Just like to throw it out there. So yeah.
So it evens out to like.
It kind of evens out. He's like.
He's just an average.
It's kind of a whitewash.
Yeah.
So that's it for results. We'll just plow through some community stuff coming up this weekend. Couch Warriors Ranbats for Fighters plus Melee and Project M. This takes place at Brunswick Masonic Hall and it's got all your fighters. I believe it's $10 entry and you probably get a discount for setups. I don't know, check the Facebook event or go to osado.net, which is your front page to make sure you don't get fake news courtesy of Jarop. So
fake news.
That's happening this Saturday. Shout out to
getting political.
You're home for alternative facts.
Alternative FGC facts. This Sunday at Area 52 Esports in Hobart, there'll be Tekken 7, and I believe they're trying to make this a fortnightly series. So if you're in the area, go down and support to try and help build the scene because that's what they're trying to do. $5 will get you in, and it's 3 out of 5 the whole way, and they got PS4 pads if you're a pad player. I got more info on the site. After a short hiatus, Sonic Boom returns for their 21st iteration.
In Brisbane.
In Brisbane, again on Sunday. I believe it's like $5 entry and an additional $5 for the tournament. BYOC, it's a PC tournament. I don't know if they're running anything else besides Street Fighter 5, so check the Facebook event or ozhado.net. Speaking of Canberra, the Reload Monthlies will be taking place next Saturday.
Yep. Same day as YSP.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. And that has Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, and Ultra Street Fighter 2. So there'll be no stream at YSB because I'm going down to Canberra to stream. No, I'm not. But that's really cool.
I was honestly going to hit you. Like, I was so annoyed about what you said.
We'll just like stream it with shaky cams and put it on Periscope.
Put it on his shit and watch the...
We'll still have our phones out and just
sabotage his channel.
$10 will get you in. Go support. Reload's a great venue, I've heard. I really want to go down before I leave. So I'm going to try and go down in July, but that'll probably not happen. So that's happening. But something I will be making it out to will be YSB 53.
Is that your last YSB?
It's my second last YSB. We specifically moved July YSB, so it wasn't the last Saturday before I leave, and therefore I could go.
Wait, does that mean it's the same weekend as Evo?
No, it's the week after Evo.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say...
I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's been booked.
Let me check the calendar. I don't think we're booked yet.
Check Slack. But it's all the usual stuff. We've gone back to singles for all the games. There'll be a Skullgirls DIY tournament. Check the tournament times because they keep moving to accommodate the stream schedule.
No, we're good. Not same. It's 1 week after Evo.
Assuming that's the day. Don't quote us on July YSB. June YSB is June 24th. Check Ozhodo.net for all the tournament times. Don't get DQ'd. You know we'll do it.
And register on Smash GG. For the love of Allah, register on Smash.gg.
Do not test this couch. Do you understand me? I don't even do the front desk anymore, and I will DQ you if you message me. No,
please.
I follow rules. Also happening the same day as YSB will be the Couch Warriors round back for Smash 4 and Rivals of Aether. Same deal. Just go to Brunswick and have a good time. All hail the Smash Overlords. Now, no, it has not been booked yet. So don't quote me on July YSB. We don't know about that yet.
Wait, people don't know what date June is, and they're already asking about July. One step at a time, SGC.
No one
you
asked.
guys aren't that
No
good.
one asked. We brought it up.
You guys aren't that bright. Calm down. One step at a time.
Disclaimers everywhere. We don't know July YSB.
Just at the bottom, just have constantly lies. Lies.
Okay, but go to Couch Warriors for Rival of Aether and Smash 4. Melbourne has a huge scene for Rivals, surprisingly.
I was told Sydney's apparently bigger.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. It ties into another story. Now we're going to chill about OHN 15 for a bit because a lot of stuff has happened between now and last episode.
Yes, please.
Let's go.
So, first and foremost, OHN 15 is a Tekken World Tour 2017 Challenger event. Youssef, for us 2D plebeians, what does that mean?
Alright.
Is that the word?
Essentially, it's CPT for Tekken.
Yeah.
And we're part of the tour. So,
come to OHN.
Come to OHN. Play some Tekken. I'm sure there might be some international interest. I don't know. Maybe not.
He probably knows.
Just come OHN.
Nice and sweet. That's good. So, for those watching the stream, you have a beautiful graphic. For those at home, we announced the different types of tournaments that are going to be at OHN 15 this year because the old rhetoric of main game and side game doesn't apply in Sydney anymore. It's no longer like that. Feels really like a slap in the face to a lot of the communities who don't have time to be a Sunday game but are still doing amazing work
for themselves. Yeah.
So we've then, rather than having main games and side games or DIY game, we've broken them down into 3 different tiers. So for those who are watching, you can see the graphic. If you want to see the graphic, go to, like we tweeted it out, so go to @Ozhodo. But basically, what you would have previously known as medal games, main games. So the Sunday games, the final games, the ones that are like OHN lineup. These, we're calling them now the trophy games, and they have everything you expect. They are officially run by Ozhodo. They are scheduled by Ozhodo, so it will all go through Smash.gg. You have to pre-register for it, and they're the games you can expect to have the big pot bonuses.
They'll be the Sunday finals. They'll be on the Sunday. So your Sunday finals will be these games, and for those that don't know, the games are Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Injustice 2, Guilty Gear, Smash 4, or Smash 4 Wii U, as the Smash 4 Wii U players like to call it.
Do they? I think they like Smash 4.
Smash for you?
No,
that's like saying Tekken 7 Dark Resurrection. We can't say Tekken 7 Dark Resurrection.
Fade Retribution anymore, yeah. And of course, Smash Melee.
Yeah.
So there will be the trophy 6 trophy games.
So they are what you would have expected from last year to be the main games.
They're the whole shebang.
Now we've introduced a middle tier, and then we're calling them the medal games, and we'll get to what they are right after this. But they are the new middle tier. They are the community run. They are basically as close to you as you can get to being a main game, but also there was like only so many people. So we've looked at what the good community, or not the good communities, the standout communities.
We're amongst friends.
Yeah, we're amongst
if you're not on this list, Ozhodo doesn't like you.
It's not wrong, no, but
you're a bad community.
It's the communities that we want to celebrate.
Lies.
It's the communities that we'd like to celebrate and acknowledge the good work that they've been doing throughout the year. Obviously, we can't run every game on Sunday, or we could, but it would be like best of one. Final
we could, and it'll be a terrible experience for everyone.
So we don't do that.
And players involved.
So we've introduced this middle tier, the metal tier. That's like, hey, we see what you're doing there, fam. Stay woke. That's probably the wrong way. It's probably the wrong way to use that word. So there are a bunch of community games.
Can't wait for you to go to Japan.
This is gonna be great.
And not fucking wait for you to go to Japan.
What you need to know, they're community run. They're also no schedule. So if you were at OHN last year, I'm going to plow through this. I swear to God. If you were at OHN last year, the way side games worked, there was no on the day sign-ups, right? So it all had to be done pre-reg through smash.gg. We're bringing that back so we can schedule it because these we're anticipating are going to be bigger brackets. So they're community run, also no scheduled. All done via smash.gg, and you get a fancy schmancy medal. Schmancy medal.
Yes.
You win the tournament.
You still get, yes.
And people have asked about, like, what about Saturday finals? We don't know. I'm just going to be 100% transparent about it. We don't know how things are going to get scheduled.
We're still working on this.
We would like it. We cannot commit to it. It is something we're discussing. We're not going to commit to it, but it is something that we are trying to accommodate, but because of other obligations, we don't know if that's possible. So that is this middle tier. We'll get to what those games are in a second.
Wait, have we decided? Oh yeah, we have decided. I'm sorry.
And backed by popular demand.
From memory, yes.
That sounds probably right.
Yes, 7 games.
And backed by popular demand. The one thing absent from last year's OHN was the true, like, I've just gone 0-2 in tournament. I'm mad. I want to play something else. Yeah, I'll enter Street Fighter EX2 Plus Alpha. Here's $5 because everything was done pre-reg on the day. And there'll be a very, very small allocation of setups for true DIY games. And we are calling them DIY games that will be community run all weekend all weekend long, and have on-the-day registration. So it is like the old school style of DIY if you've been at OHN 13 or back. The one kicker is it's not going to be scheduled through smash.gg. So if you enter a tournament and you're in a medal or a trophy game, and it's like, yo man, I was playing Super Smash Brothers Flash 2, and why'd you DQ me? It's like, well, tough. Priority goes to the other games.
Yes.
So
you have to,
the onus will be on you.
You have to commit, to being on time for the other games.
And communication is the key.
Yes.
Make sure everyone knows what you're playing and when. Yeah.
And really, in order to bring DIY games back, this was the only middle ground we could really have.
Yes.
So if you want to enter DIY games, great. DIY applications are open, which I'll get to in a minute, and enter them if you want, but bear in mind that the onus is on you if you are in a trophy or a medal game to make sure that takes priority no matter what. So don't bitch and moan like you've officially been warned.
I'm excited for that. I think it's been great. I love when we're at a tournament and you see just like in the middle of the day someone just stands up on a chair and says, "Hey, I'm taking sign-ups for Darkstalkers. Who wants to join? $5." And this little crowd just mobs him.
Same thing like YSB when like Dennis is like, "Hey guys, if anyone wants to play Gundam in that tiny ass corner over there," and then people Gundam. And it's like this swarm of people going Gundam. They're like, "I'm interested in Gundam."
So we wanted to bring that back, and that's how we're doing it. So what are the medal games, you ask? What are the medal games? Can you ask me what the medal games are?
Oh, what are the medal games, Jonno?
Well, Luke.
Lies.
Lies. The medal games for OHN 15 are as follows. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Who would have guessed?
I love it.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. We're going to get through this, everybody.
Good game.
Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown.
Yes.
BlazBlue Central Fiction. The King of the Fighters of the 14. The King of Fighters 14. Super Smash Brothers 64. And Project M. So, no surprise to anybody who's came last year. Congratulations to VF and everybody who made this lineup. This was the easiest list to put together because it's just like communities who have worked hard in the past and continue to work hard. Now, the reason why I put this story last is because it segues into really the reason why we brought you onto this show. It's like, well, my game's not here. How do I get my game to OHN? How do I build a community? Like, it doesn't matter what your game is. Like, we all started from a humble beginning in one form or another. And the reason why we brought you on here is because we want to sort of talk about, we're 4 dudes in the corner of, I don't know, like Newcastle playing a game. Like, how do we grow our scene? How can we get our game at OHN, or better yet, run our own tournament of this? Well, that's a topic for another day. But, like, acquire the skills to sort of do our own thing and help grow our scene. So step one, this will be the last thing I shill before we get to the topic, is so if your game is not missing and you already know the answer to those questions, you want to fill out the OHN 15 DIY application. It's really simple stuff like, are you running the tournament? Do you have setups? Like really, really like cursory stuff like that. I'll say straight away, every application that's already been submitted will not be accepted. So I'm going to have to reject people back, and that's simply due to space limitations combined with all sorts of other issues. But I'm going to work together to maybe get in contact with people to see if we can accommodate shared setups and stuff like that. So by all means, if you want to apply, please do. And you can reach out to me on Twitter or via the also do like Facebook or whatever, and we can work something out, because we do want to try and accommodate as many games as we can. But I just want to say up front straight away that we cannot accommodate every game on that list. But we can talk, even if you do get rejected, this episode will be one you can come back to and talk about how to grow your game and maybe, get picked up
move
further
up
down the line.
in the tiers of games.
So
from DIY to maybe a metal game.
We're going to go ahead and move it over to this lovely couch cam.
Woo!
And
beautiful people.
where should we start? Should we talk about the reactions to E3 and sort of use that as the jumping off point, or should we start off with what's going on with VF or Tekken? Like, where do you think? Where would you like to start, Luke?
Where would I like to start?
Well, where do you think is a good kickoff point?
I think something that's interesting that I sort of wanted to mention, and I think you noticed it as well, is this. I think it's a good time to do the show, because with the release of Tekken 7, there was something consistent that I saw online in a lot of different communities with fighting games, where it's this attitude almost like Tekken 7 has saved me from Street Fighter 5. Have you guys noticed that at all? Like, have you seen like people saying, jumping like, finally I can play another game? Or go ahead.
I made a tweet about it actually, about it was 2 days after the game officially dropped, and I was saying how my phone, like messages, Facebook, fucking even Twitter, like some Twitter DMs had just been blowing up non-stop with people asking me about the game. Youssef, what guides do I need to look at? How do I get into the game? What's my approach? What's my game plan? Characters to play? Yada yada yada. Like everything's gone. So the game has been out now for almost 2 weeks. So tomorrow will be exactly 2 weeks that the game is out.
Yep.
And it has not stopped. And it's only getting bigger and like more questions, more interest. People legit telling me, dude, like I just spent 4 hours in training room. Dude, I'm thinking about the game while I'm at work. I can't work properly. Like this is legit. Like I'm not even making that shit up.
Oh, I believe it. I'm seeing it on Facebook. Like everyone's
people it's gone into the point where couple SF5 guys telling me, dude, I honestly don't think I'm gonna play SF5 again. They're I see no point. I didn't enjoy the game when it dropped. I stuck with it because it's SF. It's because it had the word Street Fighter and the title. I'm really loving this game. Like they're like, I haven't had this much fun since SF4 and Marvel 3. Like they played Marvel 3 and SF4 before, and they're like, I genuinely want to stick with the game. Like I'm happy and fucking bit like on top of the world because of that. But it's still 2 weeks. But I see how much they're gonna stick. But 2 weeks into the game, like the reception has been fucking amazing. Like so, me and Shane are doing a newbie dojo at Shane's this Saturday. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, Shane's like, I can accommodate maybe 10, 12 people. Within like the half an hour, people that I'm coming and already confirmed, I'm bringing setup as well. And then like Shane sends me a message this morning. He's like, dude, I feel bad. People are still asking me if they can come, but like I have no more room. I'm like, well, you have no more room. I mean, it's only right. But there's people from Street Fighter that are coming, people that are coming from NRS games, and even people from anime that are coming. Like everyone, they're like, dude, I want to come, I want to learn, I'll bring the setup. I don't care that Shane lives in fucking Lumia. I'm going. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, fuck, like this is, like, what else could I ask for? You know what I mean? I mean, we've reached out to all these players, and Namco has put out a great game, which I've been saying for a while, and because I genuinely believe in the game, and the reception has been more than positive. So,
but to your point, Luke, you're probably baffled of like why Tekken 7.
Well, as I said, that's the two things I want to take away from this, and that I took away from it is, first of all, like, fantastic that people want to play a different game and they're picking up and trying a new game. But what if your game isn't new and doesn't have that sort of support where it's everywhere and all and all the coverage? And the second thing is, why did it have to be Tekken 7? And why did you have to be quote unquote save from a game you don't like, or if you weren't enjoying it.
Okay, I can answer this one to a T.
Yeah.
To your second point, people play fighting games for different reasons, and one of the big reasons that I think a lot of hardcore tournament players like to neglect is that people like to get caught up in the community aspect of it. They like being on Kappa or in the Twitch chat, like really being a part of this big thing with everybody. And the reason why I think it was Tekken more than any other game is because there are very few titles in the FGC that have that mass appeal.
Yes.
I think the last one to have it was maybe Mortal Kombat X, and even that was nowhere near to the same extent of what Tekken was. So to Street Fighter 5 players who are like, thank God I'm saved, it's like, thank God I can still be a part of this thing that's much, much bigger than like the 4 people in the corner at YSB playing it, while also still like learning a new game. Like, it's better than Street Fighter 5, and I can have my cake and eat it too, and be part of this like bigger community, which I think is why people are doing it, more, gravitating more towards Tekken. Because you got people like Eris, who is doing like such a good job on his stream. It's absurd.
Even though I don't like the guy personally.
Yeah, but like what he's doing for the game is
community.
great, and you know whatever about the guy, but like he's a great ambassador for the game. He's a great personality for the game.
Like people really latch on to him.
Yeah.
Like his character, what he says, what he does.
And as much as people like the game, people also like that side of things where they can get wrapped up in the community aspect of it as well. So as to why Tekken, that to me I think is the biggest thing. Sorry, what was the first point you were making before?
Well, there's the two things is like it's why did people wait until Tekken? If people have been saying like I wasn't enjoying this game or like I wanted to play something else, then and the whole point of this, I guess, like this topic is why would you have to wait for a big game like that when you can play what you wanted to play the whole time? And the other thing was, well, just to the point is like what if your game doesn't have what if your game isn't brand new and doesn't have the zeitgeist behind it?
All right.
And I guess
let's start with that, because I think to answer both of your questions, the answer is because there is more than the gameplay to it, and that's what the appeal is.
It's an experience overall.
It is.
Like, yeah.
So as a starting point, like I didn't want to start off with this, but I'd like to use what's going on with the Tekken community as sort of like the case study, because I was talking to you about this, Youssef, before. I don't think. Probably the last time you had this is IDEB Illuminati.
I'm Shield.
I don't think the Tekken community has had an influx of players this big or this diverse since Tekken 5, and a lot of the people who are now the community leaders in a lot of the for a lot of the scenes have not had to deal with people who are literally like, hey man, I like Tekken, PS, how do I breathe? And like getting hit with that question like 30 or 40 times a day.
Yeah.
And sort of, I mean, look, like you said, the Shane Dojo, there is plenty of stuff that like, there are plenty of really, really, really good things, and I don't want to discount them, and that's why we have you as the defense force, but...
Best defense force.
I also want to like come at it from the devil's advocate perspective of, because I've seen just enough sort of, not so much like toxic stuff, but it's come from a point of frustration that is detrimental to the game. So we're going to get into the do's with what to do with Virtua Fighter, and we're going to use the do's of what to do with Tekken as well. But because this is sort of like what I'm immediately seeing, I'd like to start off and get out of the way the immediate don'ts.
All right.
So if a guy's like, hey man, how do I breathe? Is stick or pad better? And like you've answered this question 45 times today. Rather than thinking like, I've answered this question 45 times today, I'm going to lash out at this guy. And that's a perfectly natural response, especially on Facebook, where like discoverability tools aren't great. It's hard to have things like an FAQ or a pinned post. That can't be the way, right? If you want to harvest a community in the long run, and you've seen somebody who's, and this is something I know you want to get to, Luke, is that the step one is if you want to get people into the game, find that the interest is there. Clearly not a problem with Tekken 7. You need to harvest that. Like, what if...
You need to build on that.
What if,
interest isn't enough? You need to give them a reason to stay.
What if, like, No Scope, don't worry, he's, like, found the Australian Tekken group on Facebook, and he's like, what's better, stick or pad? And sure, you've answered that question 50 times today. But if you Google what's better, stick or pad, there is no definitive answer, because people in the scene know that that's a preference thing. But to an outsider, that's like, well... shit, like, I don't know, I just, like, before I drop money in, like, I want an answer to this question. So step one would be, and because Tekken has to deal with this because you're getting such a variety of different people coming from all angles, you need patience.
Oh, yeah.
And that comes with growth, but that also comes with dealing with new players first and foremost. And look, I've only seen a very, very small amount of it from the Tekken players, but I have to bring up the fact that that's sort of going on, and there are other ways around that. And we're going to go to Luke's notes, and we're going to talk about some other ways to sort of hit that, because there's something that VF did. So like things like primers, right? Like, I'm brand new to Tekken, right? Like, start off with a guide, like, hey, who's cheap? Like, the most common questions, you probably know them, right? Who's cheap?
Who's
stick or pad?
Yeah.
No, but like, as in, what plebs ask.
Okay.
What console?
See, I know all these answers because I've been hit by all these questions.
Yeah. So, what console? Stick or pad? Who's broken? What else? How's the netcode, right?
Yeah, covered.
What if, like, and what I'm seeing, like, Facebook's my only gateway. I'm not on any of the Discords.
I'm not entertaining Discord.
I see a lot of people put a lot of heartfelt responses into that. What if somebody we all collated, we put one big guide together, and it's like, hey man, welcome to the scene, glad you're here, have a read of this. That would save all sorts of frustration from the side of people answering it 50 times a day, and then...
We haven't put a massive guide, but throughout like the last few weeks or so, like all these questions, people have already answered them before they've been asked. So in terms of like stick and pad question, Tom from Brisbane made a post about that, and he also made a post about which sticks are compatible with PS4 if you have a PS3 stick or other sticks like that. For the character guides, I've like every time I find a guide that kind of breaks down the different characters, how hard they are to play, what their strengths and weaknesses are, I always post it in the Facebook group. So that's always been happening there. A console, it's kind of hard because if you tell someone who has an Xbox that the majority of the scene is going to be on PlayStation, you can't really explain to them, oh, okay, and then just go pay $400 for a PlayStation. Yeah. So it's kind of hard. So there isn't really a true answer, So people ask, we can give them the response, It's like, majority of the scene is going to be on PS4, followed by PC, and then Xbox is always last. And, if a lot of the new players are going to be on PC, so, a lot of people already have a PC, probably a gaming PC, so you can just get it on PC and be good, And then hopefully down the track, or not hopefully, or if you feel the need, you can move to PS4 because that's where the majority of the top players are playing. So like the answers have been there, and even before the questions were asked, it's just, I think what you said is true. Is maybe the fact that they're not all in like one accessible place. Yes. So
accessibility is key.
So maybe
look at VFDC.
I was going to bring that up. I mean, like,
the floor's yours.
I'm sure that there's like equivalent websites for Tekken and Street Fighter. I know there's for Street Fighter SRK. Tekken's probably got Tekken.
It's not quite the same for either game anymore. Like, there is no golden standard like VFDC.
Exactly. Like, shout outs to Mike for VFDC, but like VFDC is like, if anyone asks any question, it's genuinely a gold mine. Yeah, it really is. It's the most comprehensive. Like, the wiki on that page covers everything from the very, very basics through to advanced. Every character has their command list and combos, and the forums are a great place to ask questions. They're still active and like get answers. And I mean, like, you need to have, even if you don't have that for your game, even if you've got just a few basics that you know yourself, it's good to have that sort of resource and that like prepared answer to give to someone. And I think it's also important that something we mentioned is to ask questions when someone comes in. Because when someone says, hey, stick or pad, you can say, well, it's your preference. But it's also helpful sometimes to say, well, what have you played before? Have you ever played at the arcade?
Keep the conversation going.
See, one thing,
the more questions you ask, the more you get, like, what character do you play? Like, what are you having trouble with? Like, that you have to ask.
Yeah, building on what you said, like, for questions like that, like, when someone says, oh, it's a personal preference, they are correct. But at the same time, you can kind of tell a person, all right, so sticks advantages are this, sticks disadvantages are that. Pad advantages is this, pad disadvantages is that. Find what works for you through personal experience and then stick to it. Yes. You know what I mean?
Well, because like if someone says to me, it's came up and said, hey, look, what's better, stick or pad? And then you say to them, well, what are you using at the moment? I'm using a pad. Okay, why are you curious about using a stick? And if they say, I'm having trouble getting the the direction.
I don't like pressing the buttons. I feel the buttons.
This button feels weird,
and I don't like holding the pad like in a claw shape. And I'm not really comfortable pressing the back buttons. I'm like, Are you comfortable with the stick? It's like, yeah, I can move the pretty decent with the stick. I'm like, well, then get a stick.
And that's so much better of a response.
If the buttons are big, you know what I mean, you're not gonna fucking miss it or whatever.
Or they might say something that is like, I don't know, I'm having trouble with this particular motion, and you say, well, probably because you're doing it wrong. Try it again. Oh, this is I can do it on.
Okay.
It's like, well, maybe a better suited to pad, you know, like
And Ziggy hits the nail on the head with this one. There's probably a more specific question that the person can't verbalize.
Yes.
And that's going to be so much more helpful, even if they don't like necessarily like they can't verbalize it. By you sort of making the conversation go along a bit, maybe they can sort of like their brain will start to think about it a little bit differently and have more follow-up questions rather than stick or pad. It's preference. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that could be the moment they walk away.
Also like, and this goes without saying, but Facebook and Twitter suck.
They do
for stuff like that.
Yes.
Like you do not understand how shit they are for stuff like that. Like forums, like all three of us, I'm pretty sure we agree on this. We are so upset forums are dead. Like we love forums and like they're so helpful and so good. But yeah, just on Facebook, like there's a lot of clutter. If you're on Twitter, it might be a bit more personal. But outside of DMs, you're limited to 140 characters.
And it's hard to chase that stuff back up. It's hard to archive.
And it's very hard to find.
So it just
So that's why, you know, to the point about like, you know, sure. They could, if you're on your phone or whatever, you could have scrolled down like 5 posts and found the exact answer to the question. But it's very, like if you pin a post on Facebook, for example, I'll use this because I'm acutely aware of it.
And you can only pin one post.
You can only pin one post. And if you pin, like I use a mobile browser. When you go to the group, you have to click the pin post.
You have to see.
Which is completely counterintuitive. The first thing you want people to see,
yes.
you have to
actually unlock it manually.
Yeah.
You have to click through it. And that's what I mean. Like when people get frustrated, like why aren't you seeing this? You have to also accept the shortcomings of the platform. And sure, people might not be willing to meet you halfway.
People, like from experience, I'm not saying this to kind of fucking hate on the entire community, but people are fucking lazy.
They are,
and they expect to be spoon fed so much.
I've got a big thing about that actually. I want to talk about. To your point,
just like I don't get it. Like when I was in this scene, when I first came into this scene. Like, alright, so that was in 2005. I was 17. I'm like, alright, maybe I was a young kid and naive. But I'm like the scene has grown. And even like, I see people who are like my age now or like, you know, a couple years younger. And I'm like, dude, you're like a 27-year-old dude who cannot find a fucking post that's 2 posts down from what you just posted. I'm like, how do you make it through life? If I was you, I would fucking shotgun my face off. Like, seriously. Like, put some effort. People need to put some initial effort, man. I doesn't matter what it is. Every time I'm faced with the smallest difficulty in games or outside of games, the first thing I do, I'm like, can I do it myself? And then even if I spend 60 seconds and then I'm like, I can't do it, then I ask someone. People don't even spend these 60 seconds.
But if you're a TO, like your first only question that should really matter is, are they interested? And from there, look, I agree with you.
People come and go, but like I said before, interest isn't enough. There's more than that. It's just but one element for them to do.
Well, what have your experiences been with VF, Luke? Because you'd be a good example.
Okay, well, you mean in terms of...
In terms of this. Hey guys, how do I do literally anything in Virtua Fighter?
It's rare I've had someone come up and ask me that. And I think what I was going to say was, what we're asking now, like in the stuff we're discussing, seems like it's more for new players entering a scene that's already established.
Yeah.
Right? Because like it's rare that I'll get someone come up to me and like approach me and just say, I want to play Virtua Fighter, tell me what to do. It's usually like, especially when it's a smaller game, you usually will build some of that interest over time. It's not so much where you get like a complete stranger to the game come up and asking you. Look, in the occasions when I have had people come up and say, hey, look, I want to play, I have no idea what this game is, show me what to do. First of all, I hope they don't do that in a tournament because that's really hard.
Yeah.
When they say, hey, I've signed up to play VF today, like my match is now, can you show me what I'm meant to do? And that has happened.
I want to be the best player here.
Not even that, but it's just like I want to play my tournament matches now. Kind of like, it's good to do it at social meets and stuff, and that's why like often when someone does that, if they're actually interested, I'll say, well, look, we're going to play casuals like all day at YSB, or I'm like, people are coming over to my place to play Virtua Fighter next Friday. Do you want to come? Or it's like, hey, add me on Facebook, let's chat, and I'll send you links to VFDC, and you'll teach them that way. And like I said, like you'll have like a resource, and you'll say, here's the basics. And for something like for Virtua Fighter, I always try and find something simple like the most simple way I can break it down at the most basic level, which is, I guess for like Virtual Fighter, I explain like, attacks, throws, block, here's how they work. Mids and throws are your basic, two-way mix-up. And you start from there. You just start from the very, very basics. And then just give them a bit of time to go off on their own and say, you've got the game at home.
You equip them with the tools to learn themselves.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
That's an important point.
That's the way to do it. Let them, and they really need to sit down, and I can't sit there and sit over their shoulder. No, you
shouldn't, because they're not the type of people, real talk, they're not the type of people who are going to sustain a community.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. If they want to play, they'll sit down and learn themselves as well. And that's the best way to do it, is they have to go at their own pace and find their own way of playing and find what they want to learn. As long as they've got all the resources they need, and you're there on call when they have a question, they can just shoot you a PM or a text message and say, hey, what is this?
Hey, Youssef,
I'm a bit stuck.
I know it's 3:30 a.m., but why does Shaheen's down forward one doesn't launch on counter hit? Which is an actual question I got from someone in Sharon I know who wants to a poke to launch on counter hit. He's like,
but why?
Dude, it's a poke. It's like saying, it's like, oh, come on, dude, it's a poke.
Okay, so step one, I think it's pretty safe to say don't approach people who are not interested in your game. That is counterproductive.
Yes. Well, I mean, the first thing I wanted to start with as well, and that's counterproductive, is approaching people who aren't interested, right? But I think a lot of people, and comes back to what we're talking about with Street Fighter and
But how do people know who's interested, who's not interested?
Well, I was going to say that it's good.
Should we tell the story?
Sorry?
Should we tell my story?
Your story?
Okay.
I was going to get to this. I was going to get to that a bit later. Okay. But the main thing I wanted to say, at the start of, because this is where it starts off, and this is where it comes back to at the very end, and it's what you've named the podcast. If you're watching on the screen, it says, "Build it, and they will come," and that is seriously if you build it, they will come. And when I say you, I'm talking to the person listening, to the person watching the stream. You personally listening right now, I'm talking to you. If you build it, they will likely come. I mean, the biggest example I can give you is, do you remember, I think it was the first YSB for last year or something, or February? You probably don't remember. It was the second Victory Road or something like that.
The War Games or the one after that?
It was the one after, it was the first, I think it was the first Victory Road or the second Victory Road.
Okay.
So this is last year, sometime February or something. We're in the White Room still. I just on a whim, because everyone knows my favorite game is Virtua Fighter. I also play a bit of Super Turbo, but I also really think King of Fighters 98 is a great game.
Yeah.
I just I had my laptop and someone else bought their laptop with King of Fighters 98 that day, and I just said, you know what? I feel like playing King of Fighters 98. I set it up on the table, and I said, hey guys, I'm gonna run King of Fighters 98 tournament. Who wants to play? I got 17 entrants.
Oh my god, I remember.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
I got 17 entrants for a game that hasn't is.
Was it made in 1998?
It was made in 1998.
Well, this version was.
That's almost 20 years old.
Yeah, well, actually, it's okay, this is an updated version.
Well,
but it's an old freaking game, right? And it's okay. We had 17 entrants. People would love to have 17 entrants for a game that they play. All I did, I didn't pre-plan it. I didn't go and ask people, hey, do you want to play 98? I'll teach you how to play. Come sit down with me. I didn't do anything except for bring the laptops, put it on the table, and say, I'm running this tournament. Come and see me.
Was this in the White Room? I feel like was this.
This was in the White Room.
Is that when the Chinese?
I was going to say
guys came?
This is when the Chinese guys came.
I remember because I signed them up.
Says it was Jan 2016. He seems to recall it as well.
And that's all we did was
I just want to say Tazin is in Hawaii at the moment.
Oh, fantastic! So that's 3 countries.
So we're
tuning in.
Worldwide.
So you literally set up a laptop.
Yes.
And then, because I think I actually remember talking to you after that, because I think I was either running the blog or I just started what the fuck? You were going to run a big tournament? You didn't tell me. I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I just put my hand up.
I literally, it was this is, and I'm going to explain also why that was the first and last time I did it, because I was also running Virtua Fighter that day. And I think I got about 2 minutes to play casuals because I was running both of those.
But yes, the life of a TO.
Yeah.
Did you still win?
Sorry?
Did you still win?
I can't remember where I placed. I don't think I won. I think Mike was there.
I thought
Mike was there or Chul was there. But I mean...
Did you win in 98?
98.
Oh no. Oh wait, the Chinese were there.
I like 98. I'm not good at it. But no, those... And see, the thing is as well, okay, we had those 4 guys that came that YSB that just happened to be really big 98 fans. But let's say they weren't there. Let's say they never came to that session. That's still...
13 people.
13 people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 13 more than we would have had if no one put their hand up and put the game down. and there were people missing. Like even if let's say another 4 people were away that day, that's still 9 people that played the game, right?
That's 9 people that had fun.
That's it. That's 9 people that had fun.
And that's solid numbers for a scene like Australia. 9 people for a game that's that old.
At a monthly.
And at a monthly.
As a first attempt.
No warning, no like, I'm going to do this before. As literally just rock up on the day, on the spot, like, hey, I'm running a 98 tournament, and like, 10 people rock up.
Yeah.
Ziggy in the chat, to give us like sort of a perspective, what was 9 people, like what game was getting 9 people in 2005?
in 1856.
When you look at the cave paintings,
I think it's like, let me check the hieroglyphics.
Oh, poor Ziggy.
So,
but that like I want to start with that because that is the first and last word in anyone trying to get a game off the ground that's not currently being played and you love it is.
Take initiative.
You pick it up.
It all starts with
take
you,
it to
man.
It all starts with you. No one else will do it.
Actually,
you know what I mean? It's gone.
Can I tell how I started running?
Please.
CVS 2 was around to 9 people in 2004. CVS 2.
CVS 2. That's a big game.
That came out. That was 3 years after the game came out, and that was a big game.
Just how I started running Tekken. So when I got into the scene in 2005, back then a lovely, lovely gentleman by the name of Bryce was the tier for Tekken. He used to organize the monthlies. Him and another guy by the name of Erkan. You guys might know him as Erks. Like they used to be.
I think he was on this show once.
Yeah, the main guys that used to organize Tekken for the arcade. They used to run it at Galaxy World, right? And then Erks stepped down, and then it was Bryce essentially running it. And then Bryce was the guy back then. He like worked ridiculous hours, and he's just like, I can't do it. So myself and another guy, who I forgot his real name, but his handle was Savost, an Indonesian guy. We're like, look man, teach us how to run the tournament and then we'll take it over. And then we run it together because one of us can't do it, And then so Bryce taught me and this other guy, Savost, how to run the tournament. And then we started running the tournament. So it's like, alright, so he taught us, now we're running the tournaments. It was cool, like, Bryce was, alright, Youssef and Savost are going to be running the tournament. And that was in about a year after we started. So, and then from then, it was me and Savost for like a few months. And then unfortunately, Savost had to move back to Indonesia in 2006. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm like, well, then it's just me. And then I'm like, I'll try to run it by myself, see if I can do it. And then, did it by myself. I was, all right, so that's it. So all it took is I was in this scene for like not even a year. I started running tournaments.
Yeah.
And then here I am now. Like, Jesus Christ. You commit to something, you show some initiative. This is what it takes you. Like, all you have to do is just fucking have an optimistic outlook on things and just, have like a little bit of like initiative and, just to try to help someone else. That's it.
And can I tell you why as well, I think, and because this is something I noticed, if I go back even further, this is when I first moved to Canada. Right. So I moved to Canada, and one thing as well, like if you're in the fighting game community, like what a wonderful community, because you can go anywhere in the world and you make friends.
Oh, God,
because I went to Canada,
true.
I didn't know a single person who lives in Canada, like not a soul, and I went onto like like their Facebook page for the fighting game community or something. Within like a month, I had a bunch of friends because they were playing. I was like playing King of Fighters 13 with them and hanging out with them, and it was great. But this goes back to then as well. Like, okay, so King of Fighters 98 is a game that had, and again we saw like all you had to do was set it up, and that shows that for most games out there, for like a lot of them, like this is King of Fighters 98 is still relatively a popular game, right? Like it's not Eternal Champions, it's not, God, I don't know, Shaq Fu. But like, there are a lot of like, but you'd be surprised.
Shrek Super Slam.
Shrek Super Slam. Not many games can be that, but we can only hope.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of people. You probably don't realize it. You're sitting there thinking, "Boy, I wish someone would play Street Fighter Alpha 2." The person sitting next to you and 3 other people in that same room at the same time are saying, "Boy, I could play some Street Fighter Alpha 2." And this is how like Virtua Fighter in Canada got started, because I moved over there and no one played Virtua Fighter. And
mostly DOA and Tekken, right?
Even Tekken. Well, see, Tekken was interesting because I was playing King of Fighters 13 a bit and a bit of DOA.
Yeah.
And they were the ones that like were sort of at the weekly meets as well as the popular games.
Interesting.
But I initially went over there and I thought to myself, I'm gonna like try and play Tekken because that seems like a fun game, and I'm sure that's got a community over there. every single week I went to play Tekken, no one was there.
Yeah.
Tekken community never turned up except for the tournaments. And so I never learnt it and never picked it up because there was no one to actually like learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, like there was a scene, but they were like hidden or something. Like I don't know. I could never. And this is all going to come into what I say later as well. But and like disclaimer, like I'm like the stuff I'm saying here. Like I never got Virtua Fighter to be a 100-man tournament or anything. But like,
but you got it to be a trophy game at OHM.
I got it to be a trophy game, and I also got it to be a main game at Canada Cup and Tour Yukon with Sega prizes. Like Sega sponsored us and gave us prizes. So like we can grow to the point where it's a scene that you can play and have lots of people playing and really enjoy the game that you love, like the game that you like the most, which I think is important. And but the way it all got started was I just used to go to these meetups and like we're playing like whatever, like any other fighting game, and people would say to me, "Oh, Luke, so like what games do you play?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm playing King of Fighters 13, but my favorite game is Virtua Fighter." And then like just some random person say, "Oh, Virtua Fighter. Oh, I love Virtua Fighter." I'm like, "Really?" It was like, "Yeah, I used to use Lao, I used to do this and this, and I used to love this move, and it was so much fun." I'm like, "How come we don't play anymore?" "Oh, no one plays it anymore." I'm like, okay, I spoke to 2 other guys last week and they're like, "I love Virtua Fighter. Oh, it's my favourite game. I wish someone played it." And I'm like, okay, there's 4 of us in the room that play it. Why aren't we playing it? So that's when there was another friend of mine sort of said to me one time, and this is what really spurred it on, was, "I'm going to Japan. I want to learn Virtua Fighter. Can you teach me?" I was like, "All right, fantastic. Let's like sit down and play it." And it was a colossal failure because I took the game and I like downloaded it onto the Xbox 360 and sat down. I was like, "Let's play it," and no one turned up. And I was like, "All right, I'll try again." And I said, "Let's like, hey guys, like I'm gonna be here on this Monday. Like, do you guys want to come and play it?" Someone said, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna come and play it." "Oh, cool." Get there. Where is this guy? Check my phone. "Oh, sorry, dude, something came up. Can't make it." All right. Anyway, you had to be consistent because after the third week or the 4th week.
And the great words of Aaliyah: "If at first you don't succeed."
Yeah. I don't know who
Go on your way and she see and complain. That's the real answer.
So like, I mean, there's 2 things here. One is the convenience. No one wants to do it themselves, and it's like you said.
Everybody wants to.
I don't want to say people are lazy or they want to be spoon fed, but like none of us are doing this for money.
Yeah,
At least I'm not. Like people are doing this because it's their hobby. And
no one in the Australian FGC is doing anything for money.
I was gonna say no one's doing this.
I'm entering tournaments for money.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm not TOing for money.
Let me tell you, there are better ways to make money.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that after 7 years, I paid for my dinner last YSB.
There you go.
Half of my dinner.
That was a nice Happy Meal. Okay, so like the thing is you can't. So like what I was saying, like everyone there is saying, "I love this game. Oh, it's so good," but they didn't want to run it. And at first you think your first instinct is like, "Oh, why are you lazy?" But when you think about it, they're there to have a good time. They're there to enjoy themselves. Like they probably work 9 to 5. They've got a boring office job. They go to hang out with their friends and play like video games. They probably don't feel like bringing their console and saying, "I'm going to organise this." Like they just want to go there and they just want to play. I can understand that, but if you want to run the game that you really love, you've got to just go that extra step because chances are no one else will do it, and it's not that much work. And the second thing is, like I said, like I did 2 or 3 weeks in a row and nothing happened.
Yeah.
But it was the 3rd or 4th week when people say like, "Hey, Virtua Fighter's here again," like. Or the person who said to me 2 weeks ago, "Hey, I love Virtua Fighter," wasn't there for 2 weeks. The 3rd week they do come and they say, "Oh, Virtua Fighter, yeah, let's play." And they'll sit down and play. Someone new comes in and says, "I've always wanted to try this. Let's play." And if you look at, like, I've seen before, other people will come and set up. I think I had an example somewhere, but like I have seen before, people will come and say like, "Hey, I want to play this game," and they'll set it up in the corner. Think of, for example, Fighters Megamix. Like, Erks bought that once to a YSB.
That's right.
And, like, he never intended that to take off and be a scene game. But, like, if he wanted that to be a game to take off, and he took it to that one YSB, he would have said, "Oh, no one wants to play this," and would have gone home and never done it again. And that's the same thing with Virtua Fighter. I took it once or twice, and then people would be like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll play for 20 minutes," and they wouldn't play anymore. If I just stopped and said, "All right, fuck it, no one wants to play," can I swear on this? Okay, cool.
No, you can fucking swear.
Great. Like if I said, "Oh, screw it, I don't want to play anymore," like no one wants to play.
Did you really say screw it?
I didn't say screw it.
What did you really say?
I said fuck it.
I
said fuck it. And I said if no one wanted to play, like, and I didn't come back, like it never would have happened. But if you're consistent and people know, then you'll start to roll in and get more people coming and playing. And then more people like who weren't there last week will come in and say, "Oh, I do like this game." And it's a snowball effect because, and if you're there every single week, people will start to see you're there every single week. And no one wants to be the first person in a community.
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to be the first person to do it.
People don't understand how important it is to be the first.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
People do not understand. Because, think of it like this. If you're not the first, there will be nothing.
Yes.
Forever nothing. Like, that's how important the first is.
You need the spark.
Before the first, there will always be absolutely fuck all. So someone has to be the first.
Yes. TOing is always born out of necessity. And I think people don't... One of the big things I often hear is like, you can't win tournaments and be a TO. Like, you choose one. Kyokugen says hello. Hi. I got second at 2 ISBs and I streamed the whole thing. Hi, how you going? Youssef, you've been to...
I've won overseas trips from TO, son. Twice in 2 different games.
How many top 4s have you made?
Oh, a couple. I beat Alex in D1, so I was really proud of that.
So, like...
And then he smashed me every other time, but once. That one time.
So, look...
Lies.
Lies.
And look, there is going to be a sacrifice, and I think the point you're going to get to next is not to overcommit, probably because of what you're going to talk about with trying to balance COF 98 and VF.
Exactly.
So you need to obviously find something that works within your means. If you just want to rock up and run a bracket, like, no one's saying, come join, I mean, we're saying, please join the YSB staff, but, like, no one's saying you have to join the YSB staff, but,
But first of all, you're not going to be a TO. Like, when you start.
Yeah, of course.
Unless it's a rare case. Of
like, they just come in, they went, and then, alright, we need a new venue for our Chun, and go, you have 24 hours.
Yeah. For those on the podcast, Youssef mimics putting a gun in his mouth.
And then shooting himself off. Because, it's always fun finding new venues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, even beyond that, like, it's like, chances are you're not going to be running a tournament for a
Exactly.
little while, and this is why the consistency is
You
important.
just need to help.
You'll be lucky to have if you got like 4 players, that's an achievement. Keep going. Don't say, oh, it's only 4 players. Say that's 4 more players than I had 2 weeks ago. Like, and then you build from there. You have the 4 players. You say, hey, let's do a round robin now because we've got 6 players.
Yeah.
We've got 8 players. That's enough for a tournament.
And you don't have to do that alone. That's another good point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to use Skullgirls as an example.
Yeah, Skullgirls is a good example.
I love the Skullgirls community.
So I think they may message the site first, or they post it up first. Regardless, they're like, "Hey guys, we're Skullgirls. We're gonna bring a butt ton of setups. Come have a good time." They came one month. They're like, "Man, like we really want more people to notice us." They messaged me, or they messaged the site. They're like, "Hey, look, I know we're a side game. Can we get you any sort of exposure?" What do you think we're going to say as people who run tournaments? No, people cannot know the games that are going to be at YSB. No one is allowed to know what's at YSB. You have to come and find out. Of course, we're going to promote the games. So you can talk to your local or the TOs who are running the larger tournaments, and will gladly assist. So it's not like you're doing this alone. You have to bear the weight, but every state in the country. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. And every state in the country already has an established scene that will be more than willing to have support for any game. I promise you. It doesn't matter if you're playing Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the Game Boy Advance. People will be willing to help you because it means there's going to be support for more games. So you're not alone. That's another point I think that needs to be made. You are not alone.
You're never alone. And because, like I mentioned, you're going to start off with that 2 or 3 or 4 players who come and join you. And remember I said the first people that are going to come out of the woodwork are the people who have been saying all along, hey, I love X game. I wish someone played it. Well, as soon as people do start playing it, the first thing they're going to do is say, I want more people to play it. And they're going to be more than happy to help you and say, hey, can you help me run this tournament? It's our first time we've got 8 players. They're going to be excited. People want to help you.
And it feels so good, starting something from scratch. You literally built it with your own 2 hands. Who doesn't enjoy making something out of nothing and then claiming it as their own? It's such a good feeling, and it's such a selfless act, and you're helping a community grow and prosper. I mean,
and the best thing is it's the game that you want to play.
Yeah, and it's
it's
the game you pick.
It's not this is the best game I can play because
it's not like me going to you, hey look, I know your favorite game is Virtua Fighter, but from now on you're only playing and promoting Tekken because it's my favorite game.
Yes.
No, you get all the same.
Can I take a sidebar here from talking about this idea of positivity? That's a big theme here. Is positive.
I'm gonna have to shield.
Yeah, you are gonna have to shield. And again, we're talking about a very, very small number of people. But
by the way, I just want to say, every time I do this, I'm thinking of Wonder Woman.
And Youssef he's doing the Wonder Woman thing with
because I saw Wonder Woman.
Don't give it to you.
I saw Wonder Woman last week, and Gal Gadot is the hottest.
She's pretty
She's
nice
amazing.
lady.
Oh, she never really did much for me. Gal Gadot.
Anyway,
Shield!
the shield's up.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about who's hot and who's not.
Shield! How dare you? How dare you, Luke?
One thing.
I'm more of an Eva Green lady.
She's also hot.
Man.
One thing
Sorry.
I think is important to say.
still
Yeah, I'm still here in my house. Funnily enough, I'm still here in my house. You need to be careful as to what you might consider is like a positive way of supporting your game. And one thing, sorry, Tekken players, one thing I'm seeing is this idea of like, oh, thank God, you've finally seen the light. That one iota of intelligence in your brain that makes you see that your game that you were playing, oh, now you see what a real game is. Like that attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
So you have to understand, like, I could be biased, but I don't feel like there is some truth to it because hey, everybody's biased. Everybody thinks that the game is their favorite game.
Yeah,
correct. But at the same time, when they're saying that, they're not saying that it's like, oh, you fucking idiot! No, you finally know how much of it.
But see, I've seen that
like
explicitly.
in like a joking manner. It's like I say it to everyone. I'm like, yo, welcome. Welcome to the better side. Like I say it to everyone as a joke. People know.
Oh yeah,
like people know I don't.
But tone matters, and not everybody does know that.
Yeah,
and that's why you're getting
text. Yeah.
and like especially over text, and because of I guess the amount of like we all have to go back to the Tekken example because it's so big, but the amount of Tekken content that's probably being thrown at people, and like to sort of even if it is in jest, like I do it. We've all probably done it to some degree with our own game, but it's a very fine line to walk because. Even if you were interested in the game to be like, oh, well, thank God, now I'm not an idiot. All those years I was playing that game, wow, thank you for showing me that I was an idiot. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
So you have to be positive, but you also need to be conscious of like, it's all about concept.
Also understand who you are. Like I could say something to someone and people know me what kind of person I am. Like, I joke a lot, blah, blah, blah. And they're Youssef, he's just being, he's a hoot. But then someone else who may not be like, as... Like, always like mucking around, like might say the same thing. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? What the fuck did you say that? Calm down. So it just,
But like in the chat, someone even said, Gilbags just said, come play a real game. I hear that way too much. And you do hear that a lot. Like so many people will say like,
I don't think I've ever said that to anyone.
No, you've never said it. But
just personally,
how many times have you seen it? Like people say, come play a real game.
Like, what's a real game? Like any game that's made it is a real game to me.
And that's a good point. Like you want to keep positive. You don't want to be like looking down on people.
That is so counterproductive. It's probably the single most, even if you mean it in a positive light. And I know most people say it in jest, but again, like we say with like anything to do with context, you don't want people to feel like, or thank you for showing me that I was an idiot and now I'm like, I'm going to play your game.
Stupid. Yeah.
I live at home, Marty, and I'll be homeless in Japan. So it was a couple questions in the chat, or a couple comments in the chat. Ziggy says people who say it seriously just want to scrub the body. Most people say it in jest. That's true.
I agree.
But I like, especially from what I'm seeing now, I feel like Tekken is different because it's coupled with the sheer amount of content, but you have to be conscious of like the high horse. The high horse is a very like real thing when it comes to promoting games. The other thing, this goes back to VF, says VF is cool. I don't know much about it. Is the one that everyone plays at YSB the most current one, or is it the one that people enjoy the most?
Arguably both. It's definitely the most recent one. It's the one I enjoy the most, but it's also the first one that I really played like at offline meets and like competitively.
Did we talk much about this in the last episode?
I think we did.
Okay, go find the last episode Luke was on and have a listen to that one.
I know Mike, for example, who is like the best,
OGest.
And he's also the best player in Australia, probably in the Western world, or one of the best players in the Western world.
He's made top 8 at EVO.
He's made top 4 at EVO.
Top 4?
Yeah, he's made top 4 and he came 5th once as well.
That's
at EVO.
literally better than Jonno.
So that's what I mean. He made 2 top 8s at EVO.
Yes.
Yo!
I believe for 4 EVO and 5 vanilla. But he said the Final Showdown is his favourite as well. So like,
Mike.
I mean, I know
did he not
Mike
is Lebanese? He's full blood Lebanese.
That's a throwback for you OJEP listeners.
Yeah, gone way
so that was a sidebar. I think that was a really important one to take.
Yeah, but I mean, like that is it's a really like Final Showdown is a really good game. All of the Virtua Fighters have been a really good game. There's a few reasons we play Final Showdown. For one, it is the most recent. And more to the point, it's the easiest to access. But also, I think it's the one that everyone does enjoy the most. A lot of people really like for Evo and that as well. But I'll tell you the biggest reason, because
is it bias?
No, because I personally, well, no, it's not me. It's because that's the one that the scene has actually come and said, here's the setup, we're running it, let's play it.
Oh, okay.
So like if someone think like it's like any game, and it goes back to my first point. Like if everyone who was like organizing Virtua Fighter, like all the guys that do it in Sydney, said, hey, we're bringing in this game and we're going to organize this tournament for this game and we're going to help you guys play this game, it'd probably be that game. But it's not. It's Final Showdown. But yes, to your point, it's the most recent one and it's probably the one we like the most. So
talking about this, there's a lot of talk in the chat like, yo, we're talking about VF makes me want to try VF. I want to try VF. Let's say we can take any game, Tekken, VF, Ultra Street Fighter 2, literally any game. Someone comes up to you and they say, hey man, I'm really interested in Violent Ken, or like Violent Ken's got me interested in Ultra Street Fighter 2.
No, stop talking about Ultra Street Fighter 2.
No, sit down.
No,
it's my turn.
No.
I'm really interested. Now, I could come back to you in one of two ways. Oh, well, thank God you want to try a real game. No. Or you could be like, well, hey, man, like, what games do you play? Like, oh, what have you found interesting about this game? What do you play previously? Maybe I can help you find a character. Like, when I started VF the second time, because the first time I tried, I'm like, man, I don't dig this. And then you're like, okay, what didn't you like about it? Well, I like defensive characters. And you're like, all right, why don't you try Owie? And then we went like that. It was like, oh, well, thank God you've seen the... Like, no, like you said, all right, well, what do you like? Let's go with what you're running. Same thing when you were talking about with the stick and pad discussion. Try and keep the ball rolling. Like, take something and go with it like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, in terms of...
It comes back to ask questions, because the best thing to do is understand the person who's approaching you.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Context.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's actually one thing we used to always do in... Like, me and the older players in the Tekken community. Like, at the arcade, when we used to see a new person playing there, and like you could see like they know how to do juggles, but they don't know how to play the game. So obviously that they have some understanding there, and they've seen juggles, they've memorized the juggles, and they're trying to apply them. But beyond that, they don't know anything about the game. So we used to see these players, and then we used to go up to them, and then we used to like, hey man, you know your juggles. If you're interested in getting better at the game, or if you want to compete, by all means ask us some questions. We'll be happy to help. We can tell you where to go. We do miras, blah blah blah. And then like a lot of people always like they like just brushed us off, or didn't want nothing to do with us. And that is like something that happened throughout the years. And then with old age you become jaded. And then we got into the point where it's like now a lot of people, they're like, look, I'm never gonna step up to nobody in the arcade and ask if they need help. But if anyone is to come to me and ask me for whatever, I will give them 110%. So it just goes back to saying like it's the game has changed. Like before, like people were like fiending for people to grow the scene. Now the scene is at a sustainable level, but we still want to grow it. So now a lot of people have gone complacent, have gone jaded, whatever. Like the newer generation obviously can't help the newer generation, and the old school generation, like I said, like they've just, a lot of them are like, you know what, I've paid my dues, I'm done. So now it's on you for you to ask these questions, to show interest, to like be like, I want to get better. What do I do? Take that first step. Just like building the scene, take that first step. If you want to improve, or you're interested in the game and you want to like take it to the next level, take that first step. Like you have to bear some of the weight and some of the responsibility. I mean, you're a fucking human being. Like it's what human beings do.
But can I tell you as well? Like it's not a lot of work.
It's not.
Like it's really not.
Especially it's really just running a bracket. Running YSB is a lot of work. Okay, but we're not talking about running YSB. We're talking about running a bracket.
We're talking about running for the game that you enjoy,
yes.
Which is not running YSB. It's not running OHN. It's not.
No, it's different.
It's when you like all you have. Like I don't put a lot of hours into like helping do VF, and I've got like help from guys like Blake and Nima and Mike, and like these guys all help and put a lot of weight in as well. And that comes to sharing the load, but. When you're starting out, especially, like you don't have to do like hours and hours of like labor and research, and all you have to do is again be consistent. Turn up, and this is like at Canada. We used to like in Toronto. We used to have this really good place to play called ANC Games. Like sadly, it's closed down. But it used to just be like we'd go and play every week, and then eventually it became like okay, we got a bit of a career. It's like. What day are we going to say is VF night? And we took a vote and we said, I'm free this night, I'm free that night. That worked better for me. All right, Monday night's the best night. We're going to do Monday night every week. We're going to play Virtua Fighter. And that's that consistency really helps. And all I had to do then was every single week is like on the Saturday or Sunday, just go onto the Facebook group and say, hey guys, don't forget, I'm going to be there Monday. I'll bring the console, or I'll like, we've got the game now. Like, let's play. Who's coming? And then it's like, I'm coming. And just that, all you have, like, just making that post saying, hey guys, don't forget who's coming Monday. Like, some people do genuinely forget. Other people just want that security of like, oh, he's coming. Oh, there's 3 people going. Oh, I'll come too.
That's an important
point. No, remember I said no one wants to be first.
That's
if you're first, then you will follow. Yeah.
See, that's another thing, especially with a scene that's so small. If a scene has 1,000 people, if 10 people don't show up, who cares? 990 people say. Yeah. But if a scene has 10 people and 10 people don't show up, no one showed up.
Yes.
Like, that's the difference. Yes. Like you, when your scene is like on the small side, like, you play such a more important role in that scene. So if you like don't commit and you don't put in that effort, like, you're hurting the scene in such a bad way, because it becomes a numbers game. Because 1 person out of 10, that's 10% that's gone. You know, whereas 10 people out of 1,000, that's nothing.
And like, I mean, you can't expect everyone to turn up every week, especially when it's a small community. But if you have that just consistency where it's people know, they can plan around it. Like, even if it's something monthly, like, we don't really have a lot of weekly meetups in Australia just because of the way the venues are and it's expensive and etc. etc. It's a topic for another day.
R.I.P. good games.
We have monthlies. We have YSB. Okay.
Yeah.
And we make sure that, like, even if I'm not there, even if Nima's not there, if Blake's not there, if Mike's not there, like, we'll organise in advance to say, okay, like, who's got the equipment this month? Like, who can bring it? We've got people that can run it. And it's always Virtua Fighter is going to be there. Like, and we say, like, don't forget, Virtua Fighter is going to be there. Sign up now. I'm going. He's going. This guy's going. It's going to be at this time. And it's consistently like, we start at this time, and we might move it around a bit. You always have to move like times around, but generally it's the same place, same day. Even to the fact that it's the same place in the room. Like, people will come and find it because they know where to go for Virtua Fighter.
Consistency.
You know? And that's exactly consistency. That's one of the most important things.
And one added benefit you have of a small game, as you pointed out in the chat, small scene, more games, because less queue.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to learn quicker, more games, you have more fun.
And I mean, just to the point of consistency, and this moves into the next point as well. I want to make. Sorry, did you have something?
No. I was just going to piggyback right onto this point.
Okay, so I was going to say, like, the thing is, talk about like the progression that we had in both like Toronto and Sydney with Virtua Fighter. Is we started off like in Toronto, it was literally like just me on Facebook. Does anyone want to play Virtua Fighter? Hey guys, I really like Virtua Fighter. And it's like literally like the Virtua Fighter Canada page was bots posting ads for sunglasses and Ray-Bans. And I was like, oh boy, this is rough. But it was just that's where it started. It's like, who wants to play some Virtua Fighter, you guys? And then eventually it was like, okay, there's 3 of us, and the 3 other guys I played with were like new to Virtua Fighter, and they had like very little idea, and I was rusty as hell because I hadn't played in 6 or 7 months. And then it was just us. It's like, hey, there's the 4 guys playing Virtua Fighter every Monday. And then it became, hey, we got like 6 people now. Do you want to do a round robin? Cool. And then it's like, all right, get the piece of paper out. And this is all paper brackets. We're like, let's play a 6-person round robin.
I miss paper brackets.
I don't.
I kind of do.
Anyway, I like that old school feel to shit, like paper bracket, arcade, just people sweating more than they already sweat, and they just that roughness.
This is all awful. You don't miss this.
I have a block nose, so I'm cool.
None of you miss any of these things.
You miss the fantasy.
You think this. You miss the idea of all this shit. You don't miss any of this. It's all garbage.
Nice.
It's all garbage.
Nice. But that's how, okay. So we started off, and then it was like a round robin, and then it was to the point where we would have like the monthlies as well. It's like similar to a YSB, and it'd be like, we got like 8 people at a monthly. Can we run a tournament, a free tournament? Yep, running free tournaments. From there it goes to, we got like enough people now that people will put in like $2. We're running $2 tournaments at the monthlies.
Shit.
Then we're running $2 tournaments at the weeklies. Then we're running $10 tournaments at the monthlies. And this is like over the course of a year. Then we were a side game at Canada East Coast Championships, $5 side game, and we got more entrants than Marvel because we got like 19 and Marvel got like 14 or something.
Oh,
and
damn.
Just because like Marvel was sort of like, no one really wanted to run it weekly and didn't have a consistency.
Yeah, right? If people were to step up, it probably would have been bigger.
Yeah, well,
stepped up.
There were people that ran it, but they didn't have the consistency that we did, right? And then from there, after CEC side game, Tor Yukin comes up, and I'm talking to your mate Neo Russell.
I know of him.
You know of
your
him.
mate.
Your mate.
Youssef's
Your mate. He's the only.
Don't
he's the
point your
only.
fingers at me.
He's the only. He's the only. Tekken
Lies.
Lies. He's the only. You told me he's the only Tekken player you know from Canada. But
I know another one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I know.
Well, either way, you're talking to your mate Russell. And but he was the tournament organizer. He was the main guy of Toronto, and we were just having drinks one night, and he said to me, "So is do you want to run Virtua Fighter at Toryuken?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, I said, "Is it going to be a main game?" He goes, "Yeah." And so I was like, "All right, great." So it's a main game at Toryuken, and this comes into my next point: is you be consistent, and then don't be afraid to reach out. Because I was the one who said to him, "Hey, can we run Virtua Fighter at CECC?" And he's like, "Yeah, right, side game." Well, great, perfect. Run it, really successful. Next time we have a major tournament, which is Toryuken, which is a big one.
Yeah, Toryuken.
That's like an Oztadu or a BAM.
Yeah, them and that and CCG are the big ones.
And this is a game that has been like supposedly dead in Toronto for years. In Canada for years. And it's a main game. And then, of course, when you get to a major like that, you get all the other people from out of state and who aren't usually part of the scene who are saying, "Boy, I love Virtua Fighter. I wish someone played it." And they turn up. And I had so many people at CECC like just come up to me on the shoulder, like complete strangers, say, "Hey, is it true Virtua Fighter's running thing?" Like, yeah. He's like, "Man, I've been wanting to play that game for years. Like, I love that game." And it's like, okay, well, yeah.
Then there you go, bucko.
Yeah. And then we grew from there, and then eventually we were a main game at Canada Cup as well, right? So like it grows like gradually but consistently, just by being there every time, reaching out to the tournament organizer, and like don't be pushy with them, but just like just ask the question and say like. It was probably the same. I think I probably came and approached you guys about. I would have come in and seen you guys about YSB first of all.
Yeah.
And said, "Can we have like an official like time slot for it? And can we set it up?" And
like what? Somebody wants to run things.
Yeah.
What is this?
And then
Who are you?
And then it was OHN. OHN last year was an official game.
It was an official
right? And it's
because you were consistent.
Exactly, because we were consistent, and it even rolled. And again, to the point of interstates, it even rolled into BAM, where it's been a side game 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So that's
what also
work with the community. I'm just saying, like, just reach out and work with the community that's already there.
So one thing I just want to elaborate is that as well, how you kept mentioning, this year it was this, that, and then the next year it was that. When people get into the FGC, like, I'm pretty sure they understand that they're not in it for like, I'm just gonna chill with the FGC for like a month or two, and then I'm gonna fuck off and never come back. Everybody knows when you get into the FGC, it's a long-term commitment.
You caught it. You got it for life.
Well, essentially, but yeah. So it's a long-term commitment. So don't be scared by like, I have to like work for a year and then like a second year, but like, dude, you're already here, so it's not really out of your way. All you have to do is just do that extra one thing on the thing that you're already going to do anyway. Like 90% of what you're doing is already going to be done anyway. For you to go there, to play, and to participate, to interact with the community. Now it's like you might run a tournament. Like that's it. So it's like, yeah, it's a long term, but considering how long you already committed, it's just the norm. It's just the norm.
And again, to the point, like it's not like you're running this for a game you don't enjoy. The whole point of what we're talking about tonight and what you'd want to do ideally is it's the game that you really want to play.
Exactly.
And it's not a lot of work. And it's not like oh boy, I don't think to myself like, oh geez, YSB's coming up. I gotta run Virtual. I'm thinking, what? Yeah. I can't wait to play Virtua Fighter.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking to myself, like, we got 18 people.
Yeah.
Like, this is great. Like, all these new people to play. All these more people to talk about the game and play the game with. And it's not work, it's fun. It is. And that's what you're really doing here.
It is.
One more point. You didn't. That last point right there about the spreading. So we talked about accessibility and hitting as many people as you can.
Yeah.
So did you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure.
Spreading.
And accessibility.
Spreading.
Lies.
So I wanted to say as well, and this comes up with the point of like consistency and long term and everything like that is you want to spread the word through as many channels as you can, especially when you're starting out. Like I made a Twitter account pretty much just so I can like let more people know about Virtua Fighter tournaments and what's coming up and the community's here and it's real, and let people know on every channel I can. So every time YSB comes up, and again it's not a lot of work. I put a post on Facebook. Copy paste and do a tweet on Twitter. Go into VFDC and put a post up there. And
congratulations! All this took you 60 seconds.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah,
so, yeah.
Right. In the time it took me to say it, well, probably a bit longer, but like in the time it's taken us to talk about it, it's done.
Yeah.
And then when you get a chance, like upload the videos to the YouTube when they get up, just like share them as well, because
It's hard clicking buttons.
And you think to yourself,
clicking shit. It's
but you
hard
think to yourself
work.
like, oh, is it really worth it? But if you look at like how Virtua Fighter started out, like in Sydney, Megadeth wouldn't have known about Virtua Fighter if all I did was Facebook posts. Because he didn't have Facebook.
Indie.
Yeah,
Even
well, that's what I was
Indie.
going to say. Mega found out through virtualfighter.com, right? Eddie found out through... He was bored at work one day, and he said, he was like, well, hey, I remember this game, Virtua Fighter, I used to be really good at. I wonder if people still play it in Sydney. Literally, he said, I was bored at work. And I thought to myself, I wonder if people play this game in Sydney. And he typed in Virtua Fighter in Sydney, and it came up with Oz Hadou's video archives, and he's like, this was like a week ago.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like 16 posts. Then he messaged me on virtualfighter.com, and it's actually like, I'm sorry to like put him on the spot, but it was one of the most like sweet messages ever, because I just got this private message, and he's like, hi there, hi. It was structured like a letter,
like an email.
Hi, MadeMan.
With
it's
regards.
Like, my name is Eddie, and I am a Virtua Fighter player. I have noticed that you're running. I would like to know, how do I sign up for Victory Road, and am I able to participate in this year? And I'm like,
yes, son!
And then he left like, this is my phone number and email address. Please contact me when. I'm like, wow, this guy's polite. What a champ. I'm like, yeah, like he came, and now he's placing second.
Yeah,
so like,
there you go.
And then there's someone else as well, Eddie and Jihoon as well. He's someone else who found out like
all the Koreans.
Yeah, all the Koreans. Eddie, you're right.
If you're a Korean,
so if you want Korean players.
Yeah.
But this just goes to like they all found out through separate channels. Like Jihoon just found the Facebook group randomly, and when he again, this is another one of those like cases where it's one of those feel good moments where he's like, hang on, whoa. You said you're playing Virtua Fighter this weekend in the city. It's like, and you're running a tournament. Are you telling me that I can go this weekend
for the low price?
Hear me out, and play Virtua Fighter.
Stay with me.
Hear me out with real people offline. Like, yes, this is the best thing out. Like,
lies.
And just to clarify, you didn't go to like tournament organizer university, did you?
Sorry?
You didn't go to like tournament organizers uni?
I didn't. No,
okay.
I dropped out.
Did you use this?
No, I haven't even heard of it. Is there a link you can send?
No, because it doesn't exist.
I thought I was doing it wrong for all these years.
Yeah.
So look, I feel kind of bad, so I'm going to wrap this whole post up because it was like, look at what Tekken's doing wrong, Virtua Fighter. But actually, it's sort of two different test cases. One, you have the example where you have godlike publisher support, a product that speaks for itself for the masses, and then it's about harvesting a player pool that's sort of already there, but then dealing with people who are like, hey man, how do I breathe? Like, and sort of dealing with the issue of that. And so we talked about having easy resources to link to people. A shitload of patience are the big thing, and then doing everything that Tekken's been doing. So people like Shane have been doing the newbie dojos. You don't have to do things like that. Even if somebody like Youssef or Tom prepares the link, all you have to do, if your support could be like, welcome to the scene. Why do you prefer, like, why are you having issues with Stick or Patty, having any issues? Check out this guy. That can be your contribution. And that could be the difference between somebody coming to YSB and being in the scene for God knows how long, or being like, these guys are dickheads, and walking away forever. So on that side of things, when the support is already there, you sort of have a different battle to fight, and it's mainly one of patience and consistency and being able to spread the message as far and wide as you possibly can to eliminate as many barriers for people as you possibly can.
Just come out and support initially. That's where it all should start. Come out and support. I mean, and if you don't like what you see, then don't come again. But like, I'll bet whatever you want to call, I'll bet it that you're going to enjoy it. So just come out first. See what it's about, and then just take it from there. I mean, it's a growing experience.
Ziggy dropping a bomb, you have to be ready to talk to an entire spectrum of players if you're a TO.
Of course,
you have to be ready.
I mean, I know this, you know this, Luke knows this, but like not
even TOs, people who consider themselves like prominent, who want to help better the scene, you should prepare yourself for that, and then like equip yourself with the tools to make the job easier.
But you know what? Like, and the thing is as well, like, that's not intimidating. Like, I'm not that good a Virtua Fighter player, really. Like, I'm not like someone who's going to make top 8 at Evo. I'm not someone who's like consistently like this fountain of knowledge and knows every character back to front, right? Like, I know enough that I can get by. And that's like, you don't need to be the best player in the world. Like, you don't have to feel intimidated like, oh, I'm not good enough to do this.
Are you willing to help?
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations, you qualify.
That's
all you question. Graduating from university.
Yeah. Because all you have to, and that's the thing, like if someone come up to me and said like, you've come to me and asked me questions about your character, Owie, in Virtua Fighter, I don't know Ari that well. Like I've never mained her or subbed her in one of the Virtua Fighter games, but I'm willing to say, let me look into that for you, or let me ask.
Well, let me help you teach yourself.
Yeah.
Someone
or like, yeah, exactly. Like, let me help you teach yourself. Let me point you to the resources. Let me tell you what I think about it. Like, and you have a discussion. You just have to be able to.
I actually got asked a question about Tekken a couple of days ago, and I had no idea how to answer it by someone who's never touched Tekken before. And I don't want to give him a shout out because he's from Melbourne. Yeah. And fuck you, H. But yeah, and he asked me a question about differences between neutral blocking and active blocking, and like how the frames differ. If you're actually holding back and you block a move, and then if you're not holding back, like a neutral block, and like if the frames, and I legit had no idea because like no one ever neutral blocks in Tekken because it's a terrible thing to do. Like you're blocking, but like there's different some things that aren't guaranteed. If you're active blocking, they become guaranteed. So you're like, why would you ever neutral block? You know, to eat shit, like you just eat more damage that shouldn't you. So no one ever neutral blocks. And then he was asking like very specific stuff about it. I'm like, fuck, I legit don't know, because it's like me coming up to you and going, hey man, what are the startup frames on fucking Fung's taunt in Street Fighter 5 and and how much is it on block? Like you wouldn't know, like, because it's like no one ever uses.
I don't even know how to taunt. Is it all 6? Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's not important.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's like literally what you're asking me. So like I didn't know the answer, but I'm like, look, I broke down to him how it works, what's the difference. I gave him like, there's one scenario in Tag 2 where it was actually, you should neutral block against Kunimitsu, one of her strings, right? Like you should neutral block because it leaves her closer to you for some reason, and you can punish it, but if you actively block it, it pushes her away. Like it's one thing, and the entire history of Tekken that I can think of, and I've been playing Tekken for over 10 years, 12 years, the one scenario I can think of that, alright, neutral blocking is better. Like that's it. Yeah. Like so.
And if you don't know, because TOs are players too, so if you don't know something and it's like, hey, what's this information about the game? Well, now I know shit about the game too. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah, all you have to say is, I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah,
like, and help them find it.
Give them the tools to teach themselves.
Exactly.
Another point we're talking about. Yes. So in terms of an established game like Tekken, they're the sort of pitfalls and traps you have to worry about. In a case like Virtua Fighter, it's as simple as being consistent, showing up.
Yep. Being convenient.
Being convenient.
You have to make it convenient for them because, like I said, they're there for fun. They're not there to work.
Yes.
And that's fair enough.
So being convenient, being consistent, reaching as many like platforms and channels as you can. I don't know what else. Let's pull your notes up. That seems like a smart idea.
Also, one thing I want to say is well for people learning. This is kind of like doesn't touch on the building scene thing. It touches on the point of people learning the game. Mm-hmm. Like people want to be good overnight, which
that's not going to happen.
That never ever happens.
So sandbag to keep new players around. Which
kind of just ties into the point of just patience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just be patient.
One thing I was going to say as well is, like, when it comes to the community, is nurture the players that are interested, and don't be afraid to let people go if they're not interested.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like, don't, like, 100%. If someone doesn't want to play the game, don't be like, don't chase them. Don't chase them.
Don't be like, no, what are you doing? Like, that's bad.
I can change.
Yeah. Well, they say, like, what do they say? Like, don't throw good money after bad. Like, and that's not to say, like, again, not like bad players or anything, but it's like, if someone, like, I've had a few people come up to me and like they tried Virtua Fighter. Like I know a few people in the community. I'm not going to name names, but like they've tried Virtua Fighter and they've said,
"Are you looking at me?"
No. Well, actually, no. There's a good example. Youssef, you've played it and like you've sat down and see. It's true, but
I know how to play the game.
You know how to play the game, but like you've sat down and like you've played with me and you've said, "Oh, it's a fun game," and that. But have I ever come up to you and said, "Youssef, play Virtua Fighter"? And you said, "No, thanks," and then I go, or like guilt trip you, or like say like
go back to your pretend game,
or even just saying, "Oh please, oh come on, I'm gonna play. I've entered you in the bracket. Just
you just go no. It's never been like that.
Yeah, like, and I don't think that's ever a good idea because if I start because if you do that, like they're gonna get sick of it and they just and then they'll actively not want to play again.
I always advocate for like to grow in the scene. Always has to be organic. I always say that.
Yes,
you can never force something. Like you just make it as good as you can and you just put it out there as much as you can, and then if they come, then you just like, hey, but you never like not come and play. You should never do that.
In all the energy I'm spending like bothering you when you don't feel like playing, I could have been going over to Jonno and saying like,
hey, I know you asked me Owie question the other day.
You asked me this Owie question the other day and I got the answer for you. Or it's like, hey, I noticed that you're doing this and you could be doing this instead, or hey, don't forget, like we're all going to play on Friday, like come around and let's have a game. And that's I think you should be putting energy into the players who want to play, and they'll make themselves apparent. And if someone doesn't feel like playing, just let them just let them not play.
Yeah.
And if they really do want to play, if you think to yourself like, I think they really like this game, they'll come back.
Yeah. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let them go.
Yes.
If you love something,
let it go.
Let it go.
If it comes
back, that's sick lad. If it comes back, sick lad. That's how that saying goes.
Stay woke.
Yeah. Preach. So that kind of.
When do we start recording?
This is all test run.
Check the levels.
And if you're on the other side too, I think it's worth mentioning. Play whatever you want to play.
Yes.
If you're like, that game doesn't have a community, that's because there are people like you sitting here being like, man, that game doesn't have a community, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
If you like a game, just go play it. It's as simple as that.
And you can
it'll
always
go from
do
there.
that. Yeah. It comes back again. Build it and they will come.
Unless it's Chun's face.
Unless it's Chun's face.
Yeah.
No, that can go away forever. That can definitely go away forever.
Can we just say, I just want to say one final thing real quick. I mean, we've spoken about, people organizing, people helping, whatever. Can we just give a shout out to all the TOs, like Australia-wide, for all the shit they do and all their time and effort and dedication and patience and consistency and calm down, Jonathan. So just a shout out to everyone who's just making sure the wheels keep turning and just we're always moving forward and we're always growing and we're always getting to better places. Shout outs to you and thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's it.
That's where you say play Virtua Fighter. It's a good game.
Play Virtua Fighter.
Play Ultra Street Fighter 2. It's a good game.
Kill it. Yes.
I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to plug? I think this has been a very... Sorry,
we didn't touch on too much at E3.
Just on that topic, I will point out, on the note of not doing it on your own, I know you guys have asked me on and that, but really, big thank you to Mike, Blake, and Nima for all their help in the Virtual Fighter community and for helping run everything. They do a fantastic job too, and it just goes to my point when you're not alone, and you will find other people, and people are willing to help. It's a community.
Definitely.
So,
amen.
So, no, we're not going to talk about E3. But we're going to sip this Bud Light.
Stop.
This is funny. It's funny. We won't go there. But
it's so good that I'm shaking RN.
Yeah,
this podcast is so good.
This Chun-Li outfit is so good. I'm literally shaking.
RN.
This IDEP is so good. I'm literally shaking.
You guys are the worst.
It's so good.
Do you know what I mean?
So all right.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. That's you're on it. I like you. Yeah. So in terms of where you can find Virtual Fighter,
you can find Virtual Fighter at YSB every single month. The next one is, what is the date again?
June 24th.
June
24th.
Which is also, this Saturday is when the Couch Warriors Rambats are.
No.
Yeah, in Melbourne?
Yes,
in Melbourne I believe it's also this weekend.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we'll run it people will run it, again, this is in any state you want. We just need, if there's interest, it'll be there. But right now, very consistently, it's in Sydney every single month. It's in Melbourne every single month. Look at Couch Warriors Rambats. Look at YSB. That's York Street Battles. If you want to find the community online, virtualfighter.com is a fantastic website and an excellent resource for everything Virtual Fighter. We cross-post most of the events there as well. And then if you go to Facebook, you can go to Virtual Fighter Australia or Australia VF. Just search, you'll find it.
Show notes.
In the show notes, everything will be there. And it's a really good community everywhere. So just reach out. And everyone's, as you can see from this podcast, everyone's more than happy to help.
Shut up, like dick.
I was going to give you...
Oh, for real?
Yeah, go.
No,
you were going to plug real games.
Hey, man. They're all real games.
They are real games to me.
Except Ultra Street Fighter 2.
It's totally... My Violent Ken is so real. You have no idea.
Tekken, most of the scene at the moment is on Facebook. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. So just look up Australia Tekken Community, and that's the biggest Facebook group. And from then we can direct you to the other Facebook groups if you want to interact with your scene in your state. But yeah, Australia Tekken Community on Facebook. If you want to hit me up on Twitter @_FAYD_. I'm more than happy to help. Of course Tekken, but anything else FGC related. Always there. And
it's worth searching for that Tekken Facebook page just for the cover photo.
Oh yeah. We have a pretty...
Let's not say anything about it.
Pretty dank cover photo. And I mean the community... it's just all communities are just so close and tightly knit.
Yeah, it's
and,
good.
You know, that's why it's like, if honestly we didn't care, you wouldn't see us like, you know, barking, you know, week in, week out, hey, please come join us. Like, it's legit the best, because we genuinely believe so much in our community and what we got to offer. That's why we're so like vehemently like strong about, you know, telling you should join, because we genuinely believe you're gonna have a good time. So, you know, and now it just goes back to what I've been saying the entire episode. Time for you to make the first step. So make.
Do you want to plug your Twitter real quick?
If I can remember what it is.
OzVF_MadeMan.
That's the one. OzVF_MadeMan. I post all the updates for the Virtua Fighter community there, and I have some pretty spicy memes every now and then.
That's very believable.
They're pretty good, you guys.
I can confirm they're pretty good. They're pretty spicy.
They're pretty good memes.
Now,
I like them.
if you want to find the premier Ultra Street Fighter 2 community in Australia, you're already tuned in live at twitch.tv/Gamera. No, but for real. If like, I'm gonna come at it from the attitude, because I'm sort of like scene agnostic, I guess. I'm like, if you want help getting your game out there, if you're running like a 4-man tournament in like a Strathfield train station toilet, that's probably bad.
Hey, we're close.
But maybe
that's good.
But like, I'm more than willing to sort of help get the word out on the Osado blog. So you can tweet me at Gamrah, Gamrah, or send a tip in to osado.net or Osado on Twitter. I'm monitoring all that, and I'm more than willing to help get the word out there. Maybe not at the Strathfield station toilets, but we're always looking to grow. So if you're running a tournament, however small, would like to help get the word out. So that's what I'm here there for. And of course, the sickest touch of death Evil Ryu combos you've ever seen in your life.
I've had to hear that like 17 times in the last.
I think every episode I say, "Ultra can kick you out of your own house." I think like every episode I have to say at least.
So you want to talk about how to get people into a scene? You walk up to them and be like, "I can touch a death you with a crouching middle kick." They're like, "What? No, you can't." I'm like,
"You walked up."
They're like, "Let's go to training ground." I'm like, "Son, no need. Let's do it in a match." You do it in match. They're like, "This game is so dumb. I want to play one more." And then half an hour goes by, and now we're the biggest game in the universe.
I'm never lost for words, but I'm lost for words.
So, for all things IDEP, you can find us at twitch.tv/GAMRAH every fortnight for realsies. Although, I'm gone soon, so maybe we might...
We're going to have to do something. We keep saying every fortnight we're going to have to work something out.
We might amp that up a bit, but we'll figure it out. But we'll definitely sort something out. But the fortnights beyond when I'm no longer in the country, you can catch the video archive on youtube.com/Gamera. You can catch the audio version on iTunes and all good podcast services. Yeah, I don't know. We'll be back in who knows when for
2 weeks.
Stuff. 2 weeks.
Okay, we have to. We have to try to be consistent because you're leaving in like a month.
Yeah, no.
That's another 2 shows.
We'll do. That's what I'm saying. I'd be more than happy to do extra
2,
ones.
maybe 3, but definitely another 2. And maybe we'll do like a farewell Gamera where I just break his Switch and Ultra Street Fighter 2. That would be a nice farewell gift.
Yeah. We'll know.
Are you saying you touch of death you switch?
I will touch of death you out of existence. Lies.
Alright, well, Luke, I feel like we cut you off so many times. We're just very excited about this topic,
okay.
But I hope you came on and you're able to say everything you wanted to say.
I had a really good time. I got to say everything I want. Lies. No, actually, I had a really good time. It was. Thanks for having me on. And
you're one of the few people who made it a second time.
You've joined the very illustrious club.
One of the few guys who was free.
You
were 4th on the list. And
you were playing.
You were sitting at home next to the phone.
Hey, look, you want to do this? Please, man. It's like, you're like, come on, I'll pay for your dinner, man.
No, but it was good. It's a topic that's really close to me because I've always said, and you'll see me say it on Facebook every time, is why don't you just play the game you want to play? And I really hope that people play the games they love.
Yeah, play the game. No one can tell you what to play or for whatever reason you want to play. So just play whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Unless it's Ultra Street.
Unless Violent King gets banned. But then if Violent King gets banned, Evil Ryu, like you can crouch middle kick into... No.
This is some inside baseball we're getting into right now.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll all be at YSB. You can catch us before then. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We'll see you, I don't know, in 2 weeks. At YSB.
Please be there.
Be there.
Or be square. Bye.